Hello everybody and welcome to Clip It, the greatest podcast on Twitch without a... Thank you very much for the beautiful, thank you very much for the 4 months. Grinloop, very much appreciated. I don't have alerts on webcam. Wow. But no, welcome to the only podcast on Twitch without a sponsor yet. So this is surprising. We might get a sponsor next month. I've got an idea what it could be, but you never know. Today we've got some weird subjects. Should be just a fun chat, basically. Something to just, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Just listening to, like, a conversation you're involved in. Oh, look at that, updated. For those who weren't here in my stream earlier today, I do have a new light. So we've got a nice, beautiful glow on the face. As always, we are joined here with the co-host and one special guest today. We are missing one co-host, I may add, by the way. He will be back very soon, though. He's taking some time off. We all love him and we will support them. So, yeah, as always, let's get into this and introduce the rest of the crew. Hello everybody, why did that activate that? Anyway, thank you very much, Grinloop, for that. That was very much appreciated. 4 months. Fucking 4 months already. Insane.
Time flies when it flies.
It does fly when it flies.
Time flies when you can't leave the house.
But that was a great saying, great mythical evening. I wish I timed that better. I wish that was timed better, but still worked well. Anyway, we are joined here by our two wonderful co-hosts, Agent Oink.
What's up, gamers?
And Delicious.
Heyo.
And our wonderful guest. And I haven't explained anything to Grinloop yet, because he hasn't been on the new podcast, or the new format.
No. I was quite surprised.
Yeah, so... this is the new look of it. It's slightly different, but it's more fitting the style of the channel now, so
Quite nice.
I appreciate that. We do have the wonderful donation by Panda. Phelan is a hoe for $5. So that was appreciated. But
pointed to the wrong side.
Fuck. But how are we all doing today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, mate.
Not half bad.
That's good to hear. And yeah, as mentioned in the intro, we do have some interesting topics. I wanted to have the great topic of debate, which I've heard a lot about, and that is how you wipe your bottom. We're going to try and avoid the word arse. Oh, I'm joking. I was saying to Delicious before I started the stream, I couldn't have made it more of a British title.
How does one engage in the process of cleaning oneself's buttocks after using paper? While using paper, sorry, I completely fucked that one up. I must say, I'm quite on the alcohol, but never mind.
Ah, hello, Evan. Pogs, champs. You're not using the right Pogs, boys. I just wanted to say the reason I brought this up is something I learned not too long ago. Was in a Tom Scar content video, and they brought up basically the same debate of do you sit or stand when you wipe, and I didn't know this was a debate.
Most people don't before they first discover it, yeah.
I've seen this debate in a few videos recently.
Yeah, and it really genuinely surprised me. I was like, what the actual fuck?
Okay. If we're going to go about this, I think we should go, every single person should answer sit or stand, and then we discuss.
Okay.
Oh,
So if you want to go first, Charles.
Either.
Your host. Okay. Right. I am... what I'm going to define as sitting. I don't stand up. I don't stay sat on the seat. I just like lift off the seat slightly. So it's not really sitting, but it's definitely not standing. I wouldn't stand up.
No.
So, yeah,
I think it's more like squat or lean.
Yeah, like I squat over
So I
the
haven't heard
seat,
it from you.
honestly.
So I lean.
Lean, okay.
Well,
And apparently Phelan just doesn't wipe.
Phelan uses a bidet.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
God, bidets
yeah,
are
I
better.
do.
I would love
But
a
the thing-
bidet.
I've never
the
used a
thing is,
bidet.
It's weird. It's one of those
I
things I've
haven't-
done so many times, but I can't picture it. I need to be doing it.
I'd be worried if you said I've only done it a couple times.
No, okay, so I just wanted to go. We'll talk about this more when we
There's
just.
a little bit of a lift, but it's
Yeah.
definitely a lot closer to sitting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
I-
think it's a lift, but I don't know.
let me just go into more detail. So, okay, yeah. So we've all given our point of view of a majority of us sit then, or like just slightly lean over.
Yeah, I would sort of like to describe it. I am sat on a toilet, like completely sat. I would then shift my weight forward and sort of lift off the seat, but I'm definitely not standing. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
It's more like a lean forward and a sort of slight raise.
that's fair.
It's like a quarter squat.
Okay, yeah. So now there are. I'm not even going to go into the genuine benefits. That's so it's just a weird debate because if we had someone here who was just an avid stander, they'd be like, "What the actual fuck?" And the reason I know that is because I was one of them. Before I
You converted.
yes, I genuinely I used to just stand. And then I heard about this debate and I was like, and now I just do either. It really depends on the mood. I'm kind of getting more into like, the sit or slightly lean because it is just easier.
When
and
you say
more
stand,
convenient. Oh god.
how like
How stood? Yeah, this is a question.
how
I've always
vertical?
wondered.
Like full
How
on
straight?
like yeah, full on stand I'd say.
Weird.
Yeah. I don't do it anymore. But
How does it even work?
I don't even want to get into that detail.
Wouldn't just like
But
smush,
smushy smush, yeah.
smush it everywhere.
But when I heard about the debate, it really brought up with it must be the way you're taught or told.
Taught.
Yeah, taught.
Okay.
Someone's giving
No.
you demonstrations.
Okay. So if you're okay, Jesus,
I'm going
Yeah,
off what they
I-
said.
I would vouch that most people aren't really taught how
You
to
don't
stand
watch a
or sit
YouTube
on the
video
toilet.
how to fucking what?
So it's one of these things actually that comes up is I think it really depends on your mental development. As you grow up, you will sort of do things that you're not strictly taught. Often involving more private things like going to the toilet or other things that you may do involving your genitals. And
How
generally you kind of
disgusting.
get your own way of doing those. And I think it's kind of just potluck where you end up going.
I think it's like how several different cultures can develop the same like
Yeah.
painting of hands on walls,
Mm.
despite the fact they're a planet apart. It's just kind of like instinct.
Yeah.
You kind of teach yourself, kind of thing.
I like
Yeah.
that thought, yeah.
I can't imagine like standing up fully straight.
No.
That just sounds weird.
No, it just seems like difficult.
The smush and everything, just.
It's like this is
If I'm on X Factor, I've hit the red button.
yes,
That's all
you
I'm
very
saying.
much have.
Especially
this
if
is-
you got if it's hairy,
This like it kind of fits into the same one of obviously I feel like I know what all of your answers are going to be, but when you go to the toilet for a pee, do you sit or stand?
Avid sitter.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, see, I knew that because that's come up before with Kane.
Yeah.
Has it?
Yeah.
It probably
I-
has. I just can't remember.
So,
It depends for me. Like
only
90%
now
of the
starting
time.
to realise I was meant to drink before this podcast.
It's kind of why the fact that we talk about peas reminded you of drinking.
No, I just think I need a good strong drink to get through this.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm quite sure that's what was coming across.
Yeah, no, never mind.
Thanks, Charles.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
also
no,
like that
I
Charles has been the
understand.
one most like disgusted by the avid descriptions of how one cleans themselves after going to the toilet, despite setting that topic.
Yep.
It's just
I
a
thought it would be funny, honestly.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
I mostly stand. Like 90% of the time, I will stand. Sometimes I will sit, especially if it's in a place I don't know, or like
Oh,
it's
then
really
I'd
dark and I
especially
don't.
stand. I don't want to go anywhere near. I don't even want to sit down. Like, if
Okay,
I have
so-
to hold it, I will. I won't do that in a non-familiar place.
I'm the
There is
same
one
as
barely
I
stand.
have neuron degenerative reasons why that's not possible.
Sucker.
I
Genetics.
am the same as Alfie, but for so it's very specific. I stand 90% of the time. The only reason I sit is because there's one place where I don't know if I should get okay. Yeah, my girlfriends they prefer like I was told that they prefer men to sit because of when workers come over, like construction workers, they tend to make a mess or can make a mess. So they just tell people to sit down when they go to the toilet. So I just followed that trait.
Tell people that like all you want. And
Yeah, I
it's
know.
Not
I
going
know.
To affect
It's never
them.
going to make a difference, but I just stuck to that, and it's just stayed. And
Charles, the one person that works for and
Yep.
continues to work for.
Because this is something that I've wondered for a long time, right? And I think I've had discussions in private with Phelan about this, which
oh god.
maybe I shouldn't have prefaced what I'm about to say with that, but I haven't. I know I'm going on with it. But do you guys find it hard to aim your cock?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
At times.
Wait, hang on.
I think I'll have
Okay,
this
no, that's
conversation with you
actually
guys.
got more
before.
interesting now.
Yeah, the only time I'll say is when, you know what, if we're going all the way, when you've not properly, like, uncurled, so, like, the first second doesn't go where you expect it, not even that, like, the first
Yeah.
100 milliseconds.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
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 That's
No,
it.
yeah.
But then when
Think
everything's,
my-
like, uncurled and, like, unsheathed, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know how to handle it properly.
Right.
So I was like, I was doing it very awkwardly and just
Charles.
like zero efficiency. So
Tom.
the first 2-3 seconds would be spray, and I just spray and pray. And then once it's going, it's like, all right, now it's in the toilet. But no, I don't have to worry about it.
Actually,
Just sit down.
I've got a topic to talk about after this as well. Well, it goes on to it. But I used to find it hard. I don't anymore, but I feel like it was the same as Kane. I just took my time to
Odd
aim.
concept to me, I must say.
It is weird, yeah, because I would definitely say that like you say, Finn, especially if you like are bursting to go, like the first like second or so
Mhm.
as you get into it can be a bit sort of iffy, but after that, like it's very consistent, very easy to aim.
It was like,
Although me and Finn were talking about this actually. What's your pee pressure? Because I have a very high
We-
pressure pee.
I've had
Even
this
if I don't need to
conversation
go
with you
that
guys before.
badly,
See,
yeah,
I
even
don't know
if
how to measure
it's pretty
this.
strong.
Mine isn't.
I mean, I'm I'm obviously measuring it relative to mine,
Hmm.
but like,
But well, obviously I don't know what relative to yours is, but I don't know
Yeah.
what like the
how do I
metric is
describe
for
it?
measuring
If
my
I
own-
was stood still,
I like where this is
I
going.
thought I'd be moving.
If I stood still and I aimed it
And-
50 feet in front of me, I would hit the target.
For lack of a detail, I was aiming perfectly perpendicular to my body, straight out in front of me.
Okay.
I think that on like an average, I'm not bursting, but I don't just need to go like an average P.
Yeah.
I'd be aiming at like 1.5 meters, maybe to 2.
Yeah, no, I think that seems reasonable.
Okay.
I've no
I
idea.
think mine wouldn't be anywhere near that.
Yeah, I don't think mine normally get that far.
Also,
When I go to the bathroom mid podcast, inevitably, I'll let you know.
yeah.
Give us the update.
I
I'll
did-
I've
stand back.
thought,
I just want to just say, by the way, my girlfriend's is not the only place I sit when I go to the toilet. Work is the other
Make sure
place.
the apostrophe S is very pronounced.
Yes. Work is the other place. And this is for a legitimate reason. They have a frosted, like, it's
Oh, frosted glass.
frosted
window.
glass window, but it's one of those ones that's got like texture to it. But it's because it's a small little room. It's waist height at my when I'm standing. I just don't feel safe.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'm gonna sit down. I can't risk it.
I always thought my pressure was pretty like low, but
I never really thought about
from
it.
what I've been told, it's not. But is it- on that aiming thing,
Told by who, if I may inquire?
Rosie.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, let's not get into detail. It's just happened.
We-
We
We
know
were drunk.
that it's
We
a
were
thing.
drunk walking home, and drunk walking home. Sometimes you got to go.
I feel like just
So
walking
it was
home, you gotta
outside.
go.
And but she's a cleaner.
Hmm.
She has to clean the gents' toilets. And from what she said, men are animals.
Oh,
yeah.
no,
I don't
that's
know
something
We
I
don't
wanted to-
understand how
do
to
you get a
pee.
metric
No, so-
from being a cleaner without being there at the time of it happening?
So I want to
That's
let
very
Kane
suspicious.
finish.
No, like,
I
like,
wanna
shit, like sorry,
Sorry,
yeah.
I want to say I want to
Okay.
let Kane finish, but me and Alfie, I feel Alfie's got the same point as me as well after. We'll get into this after, so I won't go into too much detail. But I genuinely don't understand men who just leave a mess.
Yeah.
that
I
is- that's what
hate
was about
that.
to say.
From what I've been told, like the things she's come across is like shit
I mean,
smeared everywhere,
yeah.
piss
Yeah, I've
everywhere.
seen bad stuff in male toilets.
Oh,
Obviously,
same.
I don't have a metric of what women's toilets are like. I'm not in there regularly.
Regularly?
Occasionally, once a year, but not regularly.
You just
But yeah, from what
stumbling.
I've heard from people that are in women's toilets, they're not as bad. But yeah, I don't know.
I've heard
it's
mixed
just weird
things.
to me because I can't imagine like you're going for a piss, you completely fluke your aim and get it everywhere. You wouldn't clean that up. I mean, like, what are you?
Yeah,
an
that's
animal?
awful.
Exactly, yeah. Like, worst thing happens. Whoops, missed a bit. Just wipe it up afterwards. You gotta
Yeah.
wash your hands.
Hmm.
Well, I hope so. Fuck people who don't wash their hands. That's another
No,
point.
no.
But
Based on the world.
It
Probably
was the
not.
YouGov poll that like 70% of men in Britain don't wash their
Oh.
hands after taking a pee
Yeah, but
in
it's-
public,
I was gonna say in public, yeah, that one's weird.
and it's like
it's weird
oh.
anyway.
Oh,
Why
it's
is it
weird at
anyway,
home,
but
yeah.
Even
But-
worse in public.
I
'Cause,
always.
like, if it's in their
at
house, I
least
don't have to
rinse.
touch them.
Well, yeah.
But that's just grim.
Like the only time I don't wash at home is if I haven't touched anything, and
Oh.
even then I'll give myself at least a rinse on my hands.
Yeah.
Rinse your cock.
Just make sure it's all gone. Yeah, no, that's
No, no,
I genuinely understand. Like, I feel more pressure. Again, this is gonna sound awful, but I feel more pressure at work because I'm the only male there. There's on a good like when there's a full worker, I think there's 8 of us, and everybody's female. So I feel like I'm gonna get shouted at if I leave any mess.
Oh
Yeah.
man. That reminds me of a story.
Oh god.
Just a short.
Ooh,
But
I'm intrigued.
ooh, actually, this will be for later on in the podcast. Phelan, did you tell Alfie what we're trying to get, or what you're trying to get for me?
Pregnant. Didn't want to tell everyone yet, but here it is.
No, what you're trying to get for me.
Oh. Punch in the teeth? No.
Oh,
What
shambles.
was I trying to get for you?
Me game.
The game.
Me game.
Hmm.
Me game. This came up because I was looking at old videos and I found an old video from 5 years ago of me.
Oh! Yeah.
Oh my
game.
god.
Right, yeah.
Basically, I was looking at old videos on one of my really old channels.
I did talk to Alfie about this, but you
okay.
can have context.
Okay, so this is, from my point of view, this is how this started. I found an old video from about 5 years ago on my old channel of me talking about a channel update, but I had one of my old batch games in there with, like, misspellings on every single question because it was a quiz game. That's what you could really do with batch files back, or at least all I could do. And Fenton was like, oh, wait, did you get, like, or talking about your game, I may have an idea for you to get yours back. And so he's emailed.
When he says his game, by the way, he means one that he made.
Oh, for my
a
college course, yeah.
module. I feel
Which I would
like-
argue was one of the best in the class.
Yeah, well,
I would
he thinks
argue.
so.
It was
would
like
argue-
it was the base of The Last of Us, like legitimately.
Oh,
It was. I had a stabbing
yeah,
mechanic.
you remember
claim.
that? You remember that bit where Joel went schizophrenic temporarily? Yeah.
No,
You
what
turned
I would
into a
say
square.
is that I'm not necessarily going to call your game the
The Bane.
game the best, because if I was going to rate everyone's game there would be like, visuals, functionality, mechanics. There'd be a lot of things, and yours would score less than others would on some of those. But in terms of ambition and visuals, yeah, yours was definitely the best.
Alfie's
There's-
was
there's
good.
no
Alfie's
doubt.
was
apart from
fun.
the fact you got epilepsy. when you
I,
played it. Other than
miss,
that,
yeah.
I miss your
I-
game so much.
I still have that game.
I
I
love it.
pretty much constructed to cause problems for people with photosensitive epilepsy.
yeah,
that was
it
it.
certainly seemed like it. Mine had actual AI and things, but
Mine did. Mine had the ability if you stabbed someone, the knife would stay in them, but it never worked. I remember working countless hours with
So
Alfie
one
trying
it
to get it
didn't
work.
have it until it's not AI.
Oh. No, the AI walked around
That
and
artificially intelligent knife. That's
I don't. The thing is, I don't actually remember what state of the game I handed in. I only remember bits of it, like bits of
Yeah,
the
I
game through
remember,
development.
Like one screenshot of your game in my mind.
I remember Alfie helping me a lot, so he probably remembers the game.
I remember a good amount of like moving around and
Yeah,
such, because,
and I remember the
was
world-
over your shoulder a lot.
And I don't know if there was any more worlds, but I genuinely can't remember the like. If we do get it, I would just love to play it because I want to know what state I gave it to them at.
Yeah.
Because I know there was features in it, and I can't remember if there was more than one world. I will say now, I did call it Empty Fields, if I'm not wrong. But the first level, you're in a broken city, or like a burnt down city.
May would not be happy with that.
It was.
I don't think I called my thing anything apart from Ass Final. Most
Oh my
of it was
God.
short for assignment, so it was
I
fine.
only remember
got to
because-
write Ass and submit it.
I remember I
Remember
called it
in,
Broken Fields because it was in the folder, or the file, sorry.
In school, for I think it was at year 9 or 10, we had to make a game for IT,
Yeah.
and mine was probably one of the few functional ones because I was the only one good at IT in my class,
Oof.
and it was straight up just a rip off of a Flash game I found.
Oh.
Like I it played almost exactly the same, had all the same upgrade. Basically, you drive an ice cream van shooting like children with ice cream. Had all the same upgrades, all the same like kids, everything. I just did the sprites myself really
Yeah.
badly, and I got like one of the best marks in the class, or like one of the best marks possible. And they're like, "Oh, it's really good, we're proud, really ambitious." And then like a couple years later, I was playing it. I was playing the actual game in class, and my teacher saw it. It's like, "Oh, you worked on your game more." I was like, no." So I was like, That's pretty funny.
Does anyone remember the number of that unit?
I
3.
want to say 18 or 22 for some reason, but I can find out for you.
I didn't do either of those, so.
Oh.
Oh, well, that must have been a year.
Oh, hopefully he can, because he said 2 teachers live by, they might be able to go in and check the system, like
Yeah, it was a
the online
unit
system.
22.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, year 1.
It's not in this folder of backups.
That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere. Loggers.
Sometimes
Yeah,
I
I'm looking at all my
forget.
files now, including the PNGs we were given and multiple GMK files.
It might be in this backup.
And the Vol icon.
I've still got game. I really do like. I miss. The thing is, I really wish we all had the motivation and effort to work on our. What was it? Our super hot game, because the menu was great. If we actually made a decent game out of that.
Project.
Yeah, I still do it as well.
I don't
So.
think I ever touched it, unfortunately. Like,
Not really.
I remember you discussing it with me, but then I never.
Because it was going to be a sports game, which was
Yeah.
going to be fun.
No.
But yeah, no, I miss. Like, I did that course because I was told, "Oh, do you want to do game development? Here's the course." And there was like 2 units of game development.
Yeah, I don't blame.
Yeah, I was told a lot of things about my uni course that never came true, and they could try and blame it on like the Corona stuff, but it just wasn't.
Oh, I also remember with that. I don't know if you guys ever did later. I feel like I asked you and you said no. I remember in the first thing of the year, they were like, "Oh, here's sheets to fill out because we're going to go on field trips," and we went on
I'm
0.
gonna break everything.
I don't remember that, but that sounds like
Did
something
that
they
break
do.
things?
I mean,
Did that break anything on the stream?
no,
What?
seems so.
Okay, good.
Wait,
Yeah.
what happened?
Don't worry about it. I'm just gaming. Continue.
Oh, yes, I see. Oh my god, that's giving me epilepsy. I've literally
Yeah.
watched it for
Is it
5
your game?
seconds. Yeah. I forgot
that's
you put the
that, yeah.
Portal logo in the game.
I forgot that your cutscene was so slow. At least mine was like in
Oh.
some
It
manner
runs
of-
slower than the game used to on this PC for
I
some
did
reason.
wonder. Everything just looked a bit
Yeah.
like the
It's
flashing was
painful
like
to watch.
distinct.
Was there something... So did we have to put a cutscene in it?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm just
No,
trying to
the-
think of
the
what my
reason
game
I
was
did it
like.
because I had a maze, so I wanted to show people, you know,
Yeah.
there is an end. The end is over here vaguely.
The end is nigh.
I wanna
the
remember.
end
I
was
still
nigh,
remember the
unless you went
strategy.
the wrong way. And
What,
then you
are you the green thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
died.
Oh shit,
Oh.
bro.
Have you crashed it?
Oh, I thought it
No,
crashed.
no, that's me absorbing the ability to shoot, bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was evil. You had to like take damage to
You had to
progress.
take damage to be able to do damage. You're
Yeah.
because this character's based off the Azorbalov from Doctor Who.
Oh god.
I mean, I know no one on the stream can see this, but
I could put it on the stream if you want.
I mean, probably best not
It'll
to.
probably kill the bit, right?
Yeah, at least my game is stable.
It might kill a few viewers as well.
Honestly. No, I'm like, if to be fair, if people were to see this, they'd be like, this is actually what the TARDIS looks like.
I forgot how annoyingly hard this game is on because of the RNG on those bullets. They just either last like no time.
Oh, but yeah, there was one that you shot as you were shooting when your thing contacted it. It
Oh,
disappeared.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And
I
there's
love
this
the
level.
health. I love the hearts.
Yep.
Yeah, this is great content for the podcast. Talking about a game they can't see.
So talking about my game, I wanted to make a 2D game. Oh my god, I wanted to
did
make a
make a
2D game. Yeah.
Are those white squares? You're like,
Give me a minute. Yeah.
milk.
The non-flashy squares you can stand on. The flashy squares electrocute you.
What do you have to do? You just avoid everything.
Kill
Or do
things.
You just spray milk at
Okay,
them.
well,
It's not milk.
This game looks amazing.
You know, I put hours into it. It's so horrible to control when it's this laggy.
It's like you see those like coding YouTubers that put like really cool games
So-
together in a day, and you get this.
Look at my score.
I guess
bro.
Charles is gone for
They
a minute as
can't
well,
even
holding
compare.
down.
I,
the fort.
yeah, Charles is gone, so I'm sorry about this podcast. I'm just going to keep playing my game.
And I'm going to be trying not to
Aw.
comment on it. So, back in my
died.
primary school, just going back to the toilet thing for a minute, Charles said he had another topic related to it, to which I did as well, but he never mentioned.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But we'll get back to that. So, there was a trip
Oh
to
my
the
God.
Isles of Scilly, which they did every year. And I didn't like primary school. There was a lot of nasty people in there. And the trip turned out to be, sort of like one good day overall. And that's because we went
Yeah.
kayaking out at sea, which was awesome. But at one point,
When I went kayaking out at sea, just to interject, a storm happened and we got trapped in a cove and nearly had to call the Coast Guard for our safety and had to stay in a survival blanket. It was
Oh,
minus 10 degrees. That was a fun
Typical.
day.
I'm back, and what the
Typical.
fuck did I just walk into?
So there was a porta potty like at the end of. We're all staying in tent, like 3-4 people to a tent, so it was even worse. There was like a porta potty or two. I think it was only one at the end of the field, and I'm trying to remember exactly how this went down. So either I went in after someone and did my stuff and then went out, or I went in and immediately saw the mess that either they or someone before them had made. I think it was them, because I remember them running to tell the teacher that I'd made a mess of it. So I think I must have opened the door and then been like, yo, what the fuck? At which point they went and did it. At which point the teacher fucking called me out in front of everyone for like
Oh
pissing
my
all over the
God.
porta potty. And I was not happy, as you can tell.
Well, one time in
Primary school.
the year before, year one.
Hmm.
Can't remember what we call it over here, but
Reception.
I've got two great stories about it. One time I went pee and just like pissed all over the floor for some reason, and then I got called out in class. Someone said I shout on the floor, and then they just said I went toilet on the floor, and they just assumed I did a poo. I was like, well, no, I didn't do nothing of that. And then another time I really needed to go, and they wouldn't let me. And I was like, you should have gone at break. I didn't need to go then. Please
Oh,
just let me go. I'm busting.
that.
And then I ended up having to pee myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like 5 or 6. So.
Amila, I had bladder problems when I was younger, especially like bladder control. So
Mm.
there were a few times I think at school when I had accidents,
In
and
Campbell,
the
I got
teachers never learned.
in Campbell, I got a toilet pass because they would constantly keep me in, and they'd be like, "You should have gone at break." I was like, "I didn't need to go at break. I need to go now.
Yeah.
Let me go. This is my basic human right." And they're like, "Nah, bro, you're not human." And then
Just
wasn't quite that
realised-
extreme, but
Let's try and stick away from the names of the schools. Also,
oh shit,
I would like to.
Way to suggest it was the name of the school.
yeah.
One of my favourite things. This is not. Well, it's not. It's just reminded me of my first ever day in secondary school. No,
Oh, that wasn't the secondary school United Kingdom High, was it?
no. My favourite memory of the first time I went to a secondary school from primary school was for the first 2 or 3 weeks I was in the wrong English class and nobody told me until they
Did you not notice on the register?
No, it was until they realised, wait, you're not on the register. Are you in the right class? I'm like, I don't know. It's really annoying because I was making good friends with the people in the class, and then they kicked me out.
I remember when
I
I
had
moved
BRB.
to
Oh, that was beautiful.
when I moved to my secondary school, my second secondary school. I got put in the lowest math class. but I should have been like mid-set. So for the first like 6 months, I was loving math. I was cruising. I was just like, yeah, this is great. Not a challenge at all. Why is everyone else in my class so dumb? And then I got moved to the correct class, and I was just like, oh, what have I done? So I think like they did it wrong.
Catch up at that point as well, which is
Yeah.
really.
I was like one class above where I should have been, so I was just always out in the wrong place. Eventually, I caught up, but
My favourite thing with the first secondary school I went to, and Kane may have had the same experience with me. I doubt it, but he would know the teacher if I was to say his name. But like, you know, every time, like when you go back to school, you got new classes, new teachers. Like when you come back from summer or whatever. Or at least in a big school like that. When we went to our small school, we didn't really get that. But in this big school, that happened, and I think the second after the summer, I went there, and we had a different teacher, lovely guy. But the first lesson we had with him, he said to all, we all sat down. He put a picture of a mini on the whiteboard, and he said, "So guys, what's similar about this mini and maths?" And it took us like 20 minutes to keep guessing and all that. At which point he went, "You're all losers. The same thing between this is I designed that mini." And we're like, how the fuck are we meant to guess that?
What?
he didn't design maths.
Yeah, and we was like, how does it? What? No, sod off. And then I hated that teacher since.
That's just completely unreasonable. I mean, I wasn't here to know any of the context.
No.
Oh, actually, you might have the same experience as well. There was a maths teacher in the first year in my first secondary school, which you know about because you also went to. And his yeah, and fuck's sake, that is a school somewhere. And yeah, I guarantee you it's not actually. But there was. His first introduction to us was he put a picture of a mini onto the wall and said, what's the similarities between this mini and maths? And the answer was he designed that mini, or helped design that mini. Like, how the fuck were we meant to guess that?
Yeah, a bit weird.
I don't know if he did that with anybody else, but
No.
he hated us.
It'd be even weirder if multiple people were like, "I designed this mini."
Yeah.
I was not expecting it. Just one of those who was like, "Oh, I helped design that." Is it? Oh, me too.
No, I think it would have been
No,
weirder.
but it's like, Jerry?
I think it would have been weirder if all the students went, "You designed it, didn't you? I loved what you did on that car."
He was like, "Let's tell everyone in the next class."
Looking back, I have to admit, it probably does make a lot more sense because UK High, the first few years are covered by a section called BMW First Years, and now I think about it, maybe it does make sense that they all made the mini.
Did you just say BMW make minis?
I'm not responding to that.
Charlie.
I'm sorry, bro.
I'm just not even. I'm not. Are we serious? Are we not serious? I don't know. I'm not responding.
That's
think
just-
he is.
no,
is
I'm
the
not.
thing. Really?
I don't trust that smile.
No.
But yeah, that was a fun experience.
I don't know if in my second secondary school we had a substitute teacher who was an actual teacher when my mum went. Every lesson with her was great because it would just be story time. And I think in year 8, our RE teacher just dipped for like up until like halfway through year 9.
Yeah.
So up until then, well, year 9 I had a different teacher, but the rest of year 8 it was always her or like some random substitute that doesn't know how to control the class.
That's right,
So
right?
it'd either be awesome story time, or everyone just fucks about.
I
and,
remember that, like stuff like that.
We had one RE. It might have been music lesson because she's also our music teacher. It was either an RE or a music lesson, but we're in the music room, which would sometimes be for either or.
Yeah.
The teacher left the room. Was like, "I'll put what you want on YouTube." So I got
Oh god.
my mate to put on this video. I don't think it's on YouTube anymore, but it's by this. It's basically a really weird, like like Babe Station and stuff.
Oh god. Yeah.
It's like a gay parody advert for that.
Oh god.
It's like, so it's obviously like just a piss take and stuff. It's like really stupid.
Yeah.
But the teacher comes in when that song kicks off.
Oh,
And,
I wonder.
we basically sat there laughing our ass off. The girl's like, "What the fuck is that? Oh my god, that's so inappropriate." We just
Gosh, I wonder
I
what-
losing our
actually,
mind.
I don't know. Okay, so I got two funny stories about UK High. One of them, I think, these two, Alfie and Kane may know about. Was I loved our music. One of the music teachers we had, I loved him. But apparently, like what I noticed
I
is,
already know who you mean.
yeah, he would always. There was like, so he had the classroom. Then there was a room behind it. It was connected by a small room that had a drum kit in it. It was soundproofed. And it was also neighboured to a drama room. So there was a big wall, and then at the end there was like a curtain. And he would always go behind that curtain. I noticed that every single lesson, and I learned later on that apparently he used to just keep drinking alcohol. I don't know if this is true or not, but I always noticed he would go behind there, and every time you go into a lesson, he would walk out of there. Like it was the most fun. He was a lovely teacher. I loved him. He helped me with my music a lot and taught me a lot. I remember we were doing Mike Myers' theme song, learning that, and he was like, "So guys, I'm going to show you some horror movies, and we're going to listen to the music. I'm not going to put Blair's Witch, damn it, Blair Witch Project on because I had too many complaints from parents that their students got scared." I was like, "Fucking love it." That was amazing. I miss him, but apparently he drank too much.
Someone in my drama class tried to convince me that they were the love child of one of the janitors and one of the old drama teachers that randomly disappeared in year 8.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
It was kind of feasible because they did kind of look like they could be. They
Interesting.
definitely weren't, but they looked like they could have been.
I mean,
So
to be
I was
honest,
like
I'm more-
dumb enough to
more-
believe it at that age.
Concerned that they probably weren't, because it means they looked at them. Well, like, yeah, I have a resemblance. I can create a story out of this, and that's just funnier.
Yeah, it's
but-
definitely very concerning.
Something I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if enough schools do this, in my opinion, but I loved it. Everybody has a different point of it. Obviously, everybody's gonna have a different point of view on this, but I loved it personally. But in UK High, they had their own currency which students could get by doing homework or work or good stuff, and I loved that because you could if you got enough of it, get some decent shit out of it.
Like what?
So I didn't get enough to really get good shit out of it, because I spent all mine like the last year, and I got like 10 Freddos and 2 USB sticks. Those 2 USB sticks were really useful, may I add. But apart from that, yeah. But you could get some really decent shit off that. I can't remember what, but I just love the idea of being in school and earning currency, basically, that you can buy crap
reward.
with.
I love rampant capitalism too.
Yes, so do I.
The earlier an age we can get kids into this idea that they have to work to survive because that's the only way they deserve a right to live, the better.
That kind of describes UK High in a nutshell, though.
Call it America High.
I mean, to be fair, Phelan was like questioning what weird shit you could get there. And if I remember right, this is off the top of my head, the only things I got from that entire system was like 2 or 3 pencils, about 6 USB sticks, although I think half of those were from the one time I was sent to the IT support office and they just gave me a bunch of USB sticks to fix the problem. And I was like, "Are these the ones that you buy?" And they were like, "Yes." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I left. And then a shit ton of Freddos. Freddos were the only thing I buy because why would I not take up free chocolate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was
yeah.
like if I'm not wrong, Freddos were like 5. They were called merits, 5 merits each or something like that. And
Oh, I know what UK High you're talking about now.
yes, but merits you could get them for homework, work, doing good stuff, helping out, whatnot. I think I ended up getting a few hundred if I'm not wrong. I can't
I
actually
never got
remember.
any.
Oh, okay.
I was only there for about 6 months, so.
Oh, fair. And then I hated their lunch, the fucking. No, I don't think I don't think there's a free school out there that has a good canteen.
I like the.
Our school was good
Or are they
because
named after
No.
like planets or something?
Probably some.
I can't remember the names. There's like 3 different canteens. I can't remember the names, but one of them I actually like.
what in UK High?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the one that was in the main hall most of the time because they had sausage rolls there.
Oh, I think my
I'm not
there's
kidding.
a small one that led onto a field.
Do you
There
mean
was a big
UK's
one.
high?
Yeah, I think so.
That may have been the main hall one.
No, it's pretty small.
I don't know then.
And then I don't think I ever went to the main hall one. Wait,
Main hall one was literally where they had all the assemblies, and it's on the left side of the hall. If you're looking, like, if you come through the main door and look out towards the door.
wait. Is it? Is this the one that's opposite the college?
Yes, UK High
Okay.
is. We're talking about the one opposite the college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought you were talking about the other one.
That's the
Oh.
College of England, to be
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah, no, I know.
I thought UK Academy.
Yeah, no, they're both academies.
One of them was an academy first.
First, I don't think UK High should have got the academy ship.
I don't think any of them should.
No, we should have got an academy ship. Our school. We were legends.
Okay, no, yeah, yeah, I know the one you're talking about. The
Yeah.
canteen. Yeah, it was shit.
Yeah.
The
Like-
other school I was thinking of had
Also not legally
couple of
possible, but
ones.
I don't want to get into UK law because I know the reasons behind that and it'll get boring.
Mhm.
Oh, what academy ships?
Yeah.
Is there a
Some
reason?
reason.
Because if I'm not wrong, they literally just did. They literally the UK High literally went for an academy ship for one benefit, if I'm not wrong, or something
Yeah.
like a few benefits, and that was it.
Yeah.
So
I must have gotten rid of the merit system at some.
no, they had the merit system there when I was there for like the first 2 years.
I must have just never got them then. Well, that would have been when I was in what 8 and 9.
No, I knew people who didn't get the merit system because they were just
No, yeah. A basic, very quick
Okay.
summary. In the UK, you have state-funded schools, which are paid for in part, or well, they receive the same payment from the Department of Education. And then an academy is the same as that, same as a state-funded school, but they also have the ability to be invested in and supported by personal donations and corporate donations, and they're not obligated to follow the national curriculum.
Oh,
That
really?
is what defines it. Yeah.
oh wow.
And it's why there's a lot of controversy around academies because they get corporate sponsors, which means there's a corporate interest in what they teach, and it becomes a problem. And it's a whole
So,
controversy.
so you could have like a
Browsers.
music class sponsored by Monster.
The other school that you were referencing couldn't, strictly speaking, become an academy because it's on a separate program put in place by the government in 2011, which I won't go into. But yeah,
So wait, so technically an academy could get sponsored by browsers if they
Yes.
really wanted to.
So like
Yes.
any like Monster or Red Bull or
Oh, yeah.
Coke.
yes.
That would be oh my god, I want
It
that
still
to
has to be
happen.
approved by like the
Government?
governors and that, like
Yeah.
not the government, the governors.
Governors, yeah.
Of the school.
Dude,
I heard the G word and I was
Coke-
like, government.
Coke and Monster are missing out, and all those companies are missing out. Like it's like hey, to this drama class is sponsored by Netflix.
This actually no. This is something. So I was just about to say, oh, that's probably happened in America at some point. But something that surprised me that I was talking to Obsession about the other day, who lives in Canada. So this is slightly different. Is the fact that obviously it depends on where you are and what shop you go to. But in the UK, to me at least, typically when you go grocery shopping or shopping in most cases, you pack the bag. While in America, it's different.
No, they pack it for you in a lot of places. Not. I'm not going to say all.
Yeah, no,
America
it's-
has a lot of regional variation across states and provinces in Canada.
One thing I
it's
really
actually-
hated when I went
it's
to
common.
America, that is added after everything, not included with it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like if you buy like a candy bar for 50 cents, at the till it might be like 75 cents. Or probably not that much. Like
That's
55, but-
25%.
Yeah, probably not that hard, but like
That's not even
maybe
25%. Jesus
55p
Christ.
at the till.
But like you get
Whereas over here, that chocolate bar would just be 55p. That's already
that
included.
just seems really silly. But again, obviously,
Mm.
like
Considering how dumb most of those people are as well.
that conversation
Well,
only
yeah,
came up
okay.
because my previous employer where I used to work is one of the only places I know in the UK where you the colleague packs the bag for the customers. It typically happens in clothes stores, but not all, as mentioned.
Clothing stores, I've seen it most of the time, like Primark
Yeah.
and New Look.
But
Yeah.
like, I just couldn't imagine. Like, I would be really bad if I went to America's. I'd be just like, yeah, I'll pack the bag, and then they're just trying to do it for me.
Things really. The other day in a shop near me I went to, I spilt a jar of Rogan Josh, and I freaking out. The guy was like, "Oh, can you clean up? Need a new jar of this." And I was just like freaking out the whole time, like, "Oh my god, do I have to clean this up? Is someone else gonna like deal with it? What do I do?" And then just left, like paid for my stuff and left, and it was fine. I was like, it was
I
the
mean,
first
yeah.
time I ever spilt anything, and I was just so confused, like, what happens now? And it was like, oh yeah, someone will just come and clean it up. Like, don't mention it, just carry on.
Hmm.
You've got free replacement. It's great. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, not free replacement, but a replacement, I guess. So yeah,
I just couldn't imagine having VAT added after. That would just be a pain in the ass shopping. Because I
I mean-
always count my money up. I always count my shopping up, like the same
Yeah.
person I am.
so imagine having to like just
Yeah.
whatever you do, you add like £5 on extra.
You definitely get used to it living in a place. What you got to remember the most about America is that the reason it's like that is because of
Corporate laws.
lack of interest in federal government, basically. Like, all of those taxes that get added on are at a state level, and then the state itself gets taxed federally. So, from how I understand it, obviously, I'm not an expert in American economics or law.
This
but
is where
from
we
what I
always go,
understand,
though.
on like sales tax in America, it's at the state level, and then the money that the state makes is taxed to the federal government.
Okay.
And for some states, they make more money back than they pay in. So for every dollar, they might get like $1.81 back from the federal government.
Hmm.
And other states, they'll put $1 in and get 80 cents back. Because some states are really rich, namely the big ones like California, and other states are pretty poor because they have no one that lives there, etc. So
Namely
that's kind of how
Texas.
it works. So there is a reason why they have like a really complex tax system.
That just seems really silly to do it like that, though.
And then what you got to remember as well is, like in the UK, you walk into like a corner shop
Vaguely.
and you pick up a bottle of fizzy drink-em-a-pop, and it has like 85p written on it, and you're like, oh, this will cost 85p, and you check the label, and most of the time, not always, but most of the time, it's 85p. They can't do that in America because they'd have to make a different one for every single state, and in some cases, every single county.
Yeah.
Which is the reason they don't label stuff
You know,
as
really
like a fixed price.
Oh.
Because then they can put it's 75p on it, and it is 75p. It's just that the tax is different in every single state.
Yeah.
It really annoys me when you go into like a spa and it's like, oh, this pack of biscuits is 58p, and then you pay for it. It's £1. Like, that's not allowed.
Yeah,
Or it
sadly
shouldn't be.
is.
Or like sometimes you go into a shop and on the can of Monster it'll be like £1.39, and then some shops it will actually be £2, and some shops it'll only be £1. And it's like you never know because it's really like there's a price on the packet. Surely that should be the price, but no. Apparently they can change the price. Sometimes for the better, most of the time for the much worse.
I don't use corner shops, so I don't really care.
Like
Oh,
Spar and Co-op do it, and they're like Co-op's a pretty big chain now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Really
both Co-op and Spar are officially supermarkets as far as I'm like by like their definition.
I mean, yeah, Spa have some pretty big stores, not really around where we are, but
Oh,
I've been
yeah,
to some
no,
pretty
down here,
damn large Spa
fairly
stores
small.
up country.
Yeah.
I really
No,
like
I-
Co-op actually. Co-op's probably one of my favorite supermarket chains. Like, obviously, they're not like the cheapest because they're not a full-scale supermarket in the sense that like Tesco's is. But I actually really like the Co-op as a company because they sell their own products. They sell.
Yeah, I do quite
they've got
like
fresh
Co-op.
baked goods every day. Like, I quite like the Co-op. I like the Co-op. Good on
So
Co-op.
I'm just
My
gonna.
favourite's gonna be Lidl.
I was going to say my favourite's Audi because you don't know what you're going to find when you go into Audi every week.
So I've been shopping Lidl every week.
I've got a pretty good idea.
Everything's super cheap and it's great.
Yeah, but like with the so I don't know if it's the same with your Audis, but the Audi where I am, I suppose all Audis are the same. They always have like I always wear is baskets, and it's constantly different shit for cheaps, like cheap. And I love that. It's great for Christmas shopping.
I don't go to the Lidl in Poole much. So every time I go there, there's like different random shit.
Why would you go
Like,
swimming to go to a Lidl?
What? Poole the area.
Yeah, so good.
But
I don't know if I just got razzled a few days.
you know how we tried keeping the
sure you did.
locations of schools away?
Oh, well,
UK High.
okay.
I mean,
well,
that just made it inevitably worse, Charles. But you know,
Yeah, I don't really
Yeah.
give two shits.
Moving on.
We've worked into it. What was I gonna say?
like say-
Fuck.
Paul Little isn't
Speaking-
that bad.
speaking of America and like bags being packed and such, it's
Do they pay for their bags?
I don't think it's any.
I think
federal
it'll be-
law.
I think it'll be a
there's
state
I think
law.
there's some state laws on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, like just in general, there's a focus on American service, right? Service is a big thing in the US. You're expected, like not as big as it is in some other countries, but there's this, service with a smile is like a culture. I
Mm-mm.
know from American friends I have that have worked in retail through to hospitality, that is a large focus on making sure that you're always happy and bubbly and speaking to the customers and doing whatever they require, and it's very weird to me.
It's
Because
quite
if
literally
I'm
the opposite in the
walking
UK.
into a store and it's like a 99-cent store as an example, right? In like a local place in the middle of a random state in America, I don't expect the people working there for minimum wage to be happy. I expect
Yeah.
them to be piss poor as shit. I imagine they're feeling like ass. I don't need them to be smiling. I just need them, like, if I just ask for something, just let me know. I don't want to waste any more of your time, God forbid. Like, that sounds horrible, Just, like, it's horrible that they, like, not they don't have to, but there is a culture of you should always be smiling. Like, if you're serving me at a restaurant, like, you should be smiling. Like, I don't give a shit. If you're working, like, minimum wage in a restaurant, I don't expect you to be happy at taking my order. Just take my order and get it done. That's all I care about.
I feel like
So
from what I've heard, the nicest people on both ends are people who have worked those jobs. Like once you've worked a retail job,
yeah.
get much more respect for people who work those jobs. Just the kind of shit they have to deal with.
Hello, Sloan Witch, by the way. Yeah, no, I would. Bless me. I would agree.
I agree.
But like you talking about minimum wage jobs, I looked up minimum wage in the US, and I'm obviously guessing this is an average, because I presume again it's state dependent.
They have a federal minimum wage, but states also have a minimum wage. So some states' minimum wages are higher than the federal minimum wage.
But okay, so I'm guessing this is the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25.
Yeah, the federal minimum wage is really low.
Which is £5.76. So it's about 50p less than the UK's. No, it's about £1 less than the UK's minimum wage now. Actually, no. UK's minimum wage is £6.40. Oh no, UK's minimum wage for under 18s is £6.
Yeah, but that's not for under 18s. That's for anyone.
Oh really? What? Like basically? Is that basically?
The federal minimum wage pretty much isn't used. I don't know what states use it or not, but off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure almost every state has their own minimum wage laws.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say
I'm pretty
that's
sure almost all of them are above federal minimum wage. I'm not sure though. I think there are states with it lower, but it's only like a couple. And for context, for people that are listening and not from the UK, once you reach the maximum minimum wage,
which is minimum living wage.
25.
Which is the national minimum wage, right? At 25 and over, it's £8.72 an hour. So it's quite a lot more than the American federal minimum wage.
Yeah. Or
the
like
American federal minimum wage is more comparable to the 18-year-old, under 18 to 18-year-old.
In the UK, don't we call it living wage, or is that something different?
No. The national living wage is there's two. There's one that the government sets, which is their official determination of how much money you need to live in the UK, and then there's one by the National Living Wage Charity or Fund or something they're called. And the living wage is basically how much money you need to earn on an average work week to be able to sustain an acceptable life.
Okay, so apparently in the UK,
pay for food, etc.
It's £9.30, but if you live in London, it's £10.75. According to this article, which is £1 under max living wage, max minimum wage. But
I think I'm getting £8.50 at the moment.
A lot of places will pay you over that. I've found, at least where I've worked.
It's pretty much potluck.
Yeah. Again, where I used to work at close store, we got paid above minimum wage. We were paid £7 something. But I don't know if that changed if you're 25 or over. I hope it does, because otherwise, if you're 25 or over, you're getting paid under, which I don't think is legal.
No, it's not.
So yeah, they would have to be paid something higher.
What you've got to remember is there's a lot of this happens in America as well. One of the most significant things economically that happens in Western countries, in terms of money not moving when money should move, is wage theft. It happens an exceptionally high amount in America, an exceptionally high amount all across Europe. People not being paid the wage that they should be being paid, people being skimped out on overtime hours, people being skimped out on their hours worked, and stuff like that happens all the time, and it accounts for literal billions in lost revenue, or lost money to people every single year worldwide.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. That happens all the time in the UK.
And that's why you should live on benefit.
That's why.
Hell yeah.
That's
Shout out.
why if you live in the UK and you can get a PAYE contract with your company, so that you're paid through, they handle your taxes for you and student loan repayments, and it's all done with your company that you work at through HMRC. That is the safest way to ensure that you're never underpaid or overpaid. So yeah.
So I saw a thing of this place. If you are 1 minute late, they'll dock you 15 minutes pay.
Jesus.
So people there, if they come in a minute late, they just won't work 15 minutes because like, well, you're not paying me. Why should I do the work?
Okay, yeah, I could understand that if it's a high, like a high class place or like high value place, like a car dealership, like a Mercedes car dealership.
I think it's a hotel.
But
I can't remember.
still, it's
hotel or a
quite
bar or a bar.
strict.
I think it might be. I can't really remember the story much. I heard it on a podcast like 2-3 weeks ago.
That sounds like an American thing, to be honest.
They're a British person, but one of the stories they were saying was when they worked for an American company. It was over here. I think it was a Hilton hotel. They'll run it the American way rather than the us way.
Wow.
But
Yeah, no, I can.
There is commission pay, and I'm not entirely sure on the technicalities of it, but I believe in the UK, with certain commission structures, you can technically pay someone under the minimum wage, provided you can prove that their commission always adds up to more than the minimum wage would be. If that makes sense. I think that's off the top of my head how it works.
Commission's complicated.
You are commission, don't you? Big mistake. Huge.
I've only been commissioned a few times, and I didn't even fail.
Commission can be good money, but it's unreliable.
Alfie loves the way I do my commission. It's so reliable, and it's just a perfect way of doing it. That everybody I've been commissioned by has saved money. It's always a great business working with me. And
What do you take commissions for?
so I did some stuff for our wonderful friend Ash for his streams. I still actually, Alfie talking about that, I still need to make it on one screen. I forgot to do him the 4x3 screen. I'll do that tonight and send that off to him. I did some commissions for a local football golf. Well, I say local, it's not local at all. But football golf. Did some commissions for them. I did some commissions for a friend who's doing. I did some stuff for a friend who's doing commissions for them, but he paid me for it anyway. And
Like drawing or?
so you know golf maps. You know you have the layout at the beginning of the map.
Sure.
Okay. So when you play golf, football golf, frisbee golf, however you do it, they always have a picture of the map, of what the map looks like. So where you have to go, where you have to get the ball around, if there's obstacles, where the obstacles are, if there's a water hazard, where that is, and where the hole is.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And the one that I was doing, the original maps they had were cartoony, just like simple colours, and they wanted more realistic ones. And my friend knows I do texture work, so he's like, "Hey buddy, can you just do a plan out, see what you can get from this?" I did one for him, went over his one night and showed him how to do it, and he did the rest of them. Give me 50 quid for that.
So graphic design stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
I am a self-taught graphic designer. Fuck me, what's his name? Ash was showing other people his work, like the work I was doing for him, and he's like, "Charlie, these people might want some stuff from you." I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." I hate doing commission work because I hate making mistakes. And
I was looking into getting into that a couple of years ago, and then
Well,
you know
you've
how
always got to remember, with being commissioned or something, people should pay up front. That's just a fact. People should pay you. It's not necessarily a legal requirement. I personally think that it's a reasonable, responsible thing to do to pay someone at least minimum wage for the work that they've put in. And secondly, if they have paid you money to do something, that is on their judgment that your product will satisfy their needs. And if you've done something wrong or made a mistake that they're not happy with, you could correct it if it's in your own time, but you're under zero obligation to.
Yeah. Like, I'm tempted to just, like, you know, start up a Fiverr just for the memes.
So I've done.
God.
I'm not done it for money, but I've done volunteer work for like trailers and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I love doing that.
And first person I did it with, I was in contact with them a lot, so I'd send them, like, I'd upload it to YouTube, send them a link. They'd tell me any corrections to make, and I'd make it within an hour. But I was just doing volunteer, and also it tied into college work.
Yeah.
The second one I did, wasn't really in contact with the owner much. As mum knew him, so she kind of like helped me with ideas about how to fix it up. But I basically just sent him the final one, and he was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And then I think he made a couple changes to it himself.
Yeah.
Mostly audio stuff, because he's like, it was for a radio station, so he.
Oh, fair.
I don't know if it counts as a radio station, but he does a lot of audio work, so he fixed up the audio a bit. Yeah, it's quite. Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that.
Speaking of,
Well, I can't remember where I was going.
did you have more stuff you wanted to say about the earlier topic, Phelan?
What about the bathroom topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to that topic.
Yeah, let's do a massive jump back to the start.
Yeah.
I remember mentioning to Joseph before the stream that there was something I wanted to say, which he never asked the question of. I think it was about folding, if I remember correctly.
So-
and obviously,
For context, I said to these lads, we're going to start the topic off. We're going to start the pod off. We're talking about how many times do you fold a piece of toilet paper? Because
To blow your nose.
to blow your nose, yes, no, to wipe your penis.
Blow your bottom nose.
Because I've heard people don't fold it, which I just feel really weird.
Ugh.
But obviously it depends on the toilet paper you get.
If it's like 73 ply.
But then I know people who fold it like 5 times. I don't know people. I've heard people fold it 5 times or stupid numbers like that. And so I feel like just one simple fold is plenty.
I think I do 2, maybe 3, depending how many sheets I got.
yeah, and it also depends on like the ply and everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have a very simple answer to this. It entirely depends on the ply of the toilet paper. It has nothing to do with how many folds there are. It has everything to do with how many
But-
layers there are.
I would also, so I'd say normally 2. My solution for this, though, for the love of God, and it could just be me. So a lot of the paper, it goes unused. A lot of it is holding. All right. Here's what we should do. Let's fold that in half from the factory. All right. We don't need that much width. If you need that much width, you've got bigger problems than wiping your own ass. I'm telling you.
Well,
And I have
like the
just
width.
solved all of the world's problems.
You want to
I mean,
protect
yeah.
your hair.
As a member of the IBS gang, I'm pretty sure IBS gang would not agree with that.
How much? Okay, go on, IBS gang. How much of a sheet
mean-
do you? You
I
have to
ty- I
take
typically use
multiple
about-
wipes to use a significant amount of it.
I
and are you gonna
typically
use the
fold
same
about
sheet?
6 times.
You do
Wait,
multiple
didn't you
wipes,
just, didn't you
one
just
sheet.
criticize people folding like 4 times earlier?
I'm joking. I fold once. Or twice. It depends on the toilet paper, really.
Fold one. Fold
Yeah,
twice. Wipe once.
I will try and word this in a way that doesn't put people off listening, but with certain strands of IBS, depending on the effects it has on your bowels, let's just say that the resulting aftermath is not something that can be dealt with in a short time, and
Right.
is a bit more complicated than the average event. So yeah, it can definitely, like if
But
I was
the
to
same
fold
amount-
toilet paper in like half horizontally, if that's what you were suggesting, like there would be shit on my hands.
Okay.
What I'd question here then is how long are your strokes when you
Like
do
it
this?
depends. It varies a lot. Sometimes nothing. I mean,
Talking
everyone
about
has
golf
that.
here.
Sometimes a little bit. sometimes the entire, well, not the entire sheet, but like at least like 60% of it is like an area coverage, I guess.
Oh, how? Like, I don't think I
Yeah.
could comfortably use more than like
I messed that up.
a couple inches, like for a streak. Like, I don't think you can get any more onto that reasonably without either making contact elsewhere, which definitely isn't ideal, or wiping multiple times, which also isn't ideal.
None of those are ideal.
Exactly.
You know, I think it does
Yeah.
come down to just like how your bowels are, really.
Maybe, and how gaping you are, apparently. But
I do
That's
have
not-
a massively gaping asshole. Yeah.
Aww, thank you very much for the 20 bits. Really appreciate it.
This is the best timing.
That was
Yeah.
beautiful timing.
But if on like a normal go, I'll use maybe 3 wipes with
Again, are we
like
talking about golf?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll like get like 3 to 4 sheets, fold
Mhm.
once, maybe twice if needed, couple wipes. If it's like hangover time or upset tum tum time, then we're talking quite a lot more.
yeah.
I don't ever go for
those
4.
I'm grateful for the wideness.
I never go over 4. Unless I accidentally pulled off more than 4, which one I either take off a few and just leave them for the next one, or
If there's gonna be a slappy mud
Leave
pie.
them for the next
yeah.
one.
And so it's like, I don't know.
Tell you what, the toilet
I mean,
paper we
okay.
got at the moment is great. It's
Again, I
Got a
think it
question here, I have
depends
to
on the
ask.
wallpaper.
And I'm pretty sure that this is generally very one-sided for people that possess penises. But we're all front to back, right? None of us are back to front.
What?
scrote to back, not back to scrote.
When you wipe, do you go from the back to the front or the front to the back? As in, you know, balls to end of arse crack or end of arse crack to balls.
Yeah, I just scrote to back.
Charles is having a long hard
Yeah,
think
I'm not.
about
I'm
this, and
genuinely
that's
trying to
worrying.
think. I'm like failing. I'm like,
He has to picture it, flip it around in his
Yeah.
head, twist
No.
it, reverse it.
Do you need to go and find out?
I genuinely. I think. What are you?
What do you think
He's
I am?
basing his answer off of you.
yeah, that for one. I am very adamantly a front to back,
Okay, yeah, I think that's what I.
going away from my nuts.
I just feel I do both.
Do you
but I
want to
don't
use
know-
any other terms for the testicle?
My pendulous seed bags. I don't know.
Scrote to back to scrote.
And I think
No, it's just because it's one of those things I don't think about.
Well, I might be confusing myself because, like, mirror imagery, it being upside down relative to where I am right now. But I think I'm the other way to you.
Making fun of me, and he's not even
yeah,
remembering.
God, I feel awkward trying to, like, I don't want to make anyone comfortable with the wording, but you reach down, right? Do you
Yeah.
start closest to your balls or furthest from your balls?
The thing is, I
think
see
so.
I see where we're going wrong here. I tend to reach up.
Right.
I've
Yeah,
heard
like-
that
So you
it's
dab?
especially important for girls to do it the other way to them
Yeah.
because it reduces the
Front
chance
to
of
back,
UTIs
yeah.
quite
Yeah,
dramatically.
you should always wipe away from a vagina.
But that's the good side of having testicles, I guess.
I think
I-
I,
Right, so
You'd have
it
to wipe
blocks-
all the way down them, all the way along the shaft, and even then, it'd still have to.
I think I
You'd still
alter.
have to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels weird to me because the way you suggest you do it, Phelan, would be you'd effectively be wiping in a way that I don't want to say pushes because that's not kind of how it works, but is moving your now covered in toilet paper towards your own balls, which just sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry,
my
just
first
taps on
wipe
the
is
toilet.
always front to back, and then I kind of alternate as I go
I'd
along.
kind of say the other way feels like it would be pushing it more and it would be less effective, but I can't picture it either way right now. Is the problem? Like,
Yeah, I can't picture it
it's
at
weird how
all.
it's one of those things that I need to
Weird.
be there, having done it hundreds of times.
Do update me. I'm interested.
We all are. We'll come back to this on the next podcast. Actually, that's something I wanted to say. Is this podcast? I'm going to make a channel for this podcast, and we're going to upload all the podcasts on there, because Twitch videos don't last forever, but they do. So If you wanna, I'll link that when I've got that already and done and dusted. But it's just something else to start putting on because I like this new format. And Twitch. Oh, did anybody see Twitch go mad last night? Because that scared me a little bit.
What happened to Twitch?
Which just shit itself and kept saying I had no
What was
followers.
How many sheep did it still stand?
God damn. Yeah, Twitch just shit itself. It kept saying I had no followers and then no subscribers, and I was like, shit, my channel's down. And then I realised, oh no, it's happening for more than one person. So
Yeah, they were having some pretty big issues.
No,
Oh,
no, I
actually, I
wasn't
don't know
aware
if you
of
want it. I'll ask after the pod because I don't know if you want it brought up again. But
uh-oh.
that. Yeah.
it's a thing that happened possibly last time. But I'll.
Oh, what
About-
with the thing? Oh, I don't know if you'll get this. No, you won't get that. With the, is it with my followers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Okay.
Which Alfie only just learned about today as well.
So how many are you on now?
My normal amount.
Oh. Let me
Which
give
is
you
a
an
good,
idea.
numerical answer.
Yeah.
That anyone could base anything off of.
Yeah,
I was gonna unfollow and refollow, but I don't know if how that
that
would
doesn't
affect
work, no.
this.
It's a whole weird. So we've spoken about so much shit today, quite literally.
Literally, yeah.
Trying to steal my joke, mate.
It's only been an hour. We've
Honestly,
changed topics several times.
Yeah.
we haven't changed too many
We've
topics.
gone full circle.
Yeah, been
Yeah.
pretty solid topics though.
No, yeah, and
Sometimes funny.
I'm still one of those people who I can't pick up dog shit
Really?
because
It took me,
because
to be fair,
of
it took me
the
like
texture.
a while.
Shit.
I kind of get that. It took me a while, but having lived with dogs for many years, it's one of those things that eventually, I think I had to do it. Like when my parents were away at some point, like that was my job, was picking up the yard and cleaning it.
My excuse is I never wanted a dog. I don't plan on getting a dog, so I'm not going to clean up a dog.
So I always get surprised by people who are like super like really over the top about shit of like oh, don't let it go near me. Like I won't change a baby. I'm not gonna pick up dog poo. I'm not gonna go near it. It's like, dude, it's just a bit of shit. Like it's gross,
I mean,
but it's just
yeah,
a part of
I'm
life.
definitely gonna actively try and steer away from it.
I can't
Like, I'm
wait.
not gonna go around like trying to touch it, but like
I hope.
I'm not gonna like it's not gonna ruin my day having to pick up Bo's poo or coming across some shit. Like
That's the one thing is I don't want to move into a house with you guys because I don't want to keep picking up
Oh,
your
wow,
guys'
okay.
shit.
That's fine.
Um,
You already didn't want to move in.
I was saying this actually. This is a funny off bit, but I was saying to my I was talking to my boss. My sister was talking about moving out. And I was like, oh yeah, me and my friends wanted to move out at one point. And I was like, she was like, yeah, don't do it. One of them will not pay rent. The other one won't clean.
I'll be honest, that's exactly what my parents have been telling me.
I mean, I'm surprised that like you needed to be told that. Like, surely
Well,
that's
no, I don't need to be told it, but it's the typical mum. My mum, and I'll admit, it annoys me when she does. My mum, to this day, will still give me lectures about like not giving my email to certain sites or talking to certain people online. When she's got so many spam emails, and I think her card's been frozen so many times recently.
Yeah, if you want to contact Delicious here, feel free to email theteeth@ukhigh.co.uk.
I'd use that.
No, yeah,
You can purchase
the
that
thing is,
now.
I would love to live in a house with friends. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously,
I think it's something that a lot more young people are into.
yeah, the idea
as
of
an
it is
idea,
fun.
because not just from like the being with friends thing. I think young people are just more open about their lives. We're more happy to speak about mental health.
But can we just
more
say?
understanding.
Can we just say? You say young people like we're not young people.
He said it like we are.
Oh, so I'm pretty sure I'm saying
Yeah.
like we are young people.
We're
That's
saying it.
entirely the point.
Oh, you were saying young people, like so,
What?
like we
Fucking
weren't
cute.
them.
Back in my day.
Back in my day when I
Okay,
was a year old.
Sorry, us, the defined group of young people,
Gen
are
Z.
generally just more accepting, and I feel like a lot of older people would generally be more uncomfortable with like, what if someone's not feeling too great mentally that week and is just not really doing much or speaking to people, whereas young people are more willing to just like, yeah, just give me a bit of space. Or
I would also
those people are being really annoying. Why do they have to have sex every day? Whereas other people would just be like, I know, they just want to fuck. I don't give a shit. Like, I just put headphones on.
I had that conversation with my girlfriend's dad the other day. That was awkward.
What?
But like
I'd love to hear about this, but continue.
I no. Want me to? I can. But
But you're cool.
I think one of the other things, and obviously I don't know because I'm not in an older generation, so I just hear what they say and working around a lot of them. I would say another big thing between it is whereas back in the day, getting houses was a lot cheaper and easier, or not cheaper, but it was easier. And typically around that time, you would either have someone to go and move into a house with, potentially even married. So living in a house. You typically weren't living in a house by yourself. And even if you were, you weren't worried about fucking...
I mean, yeah, definitely.
rent.
Like, I don't know who here plans to get married or is even interested. I'm not particularly interested. I don't find anything but tax benefits that interesting. And solely, like, if I was to get married, it probably won't be till my 30s, mid-30s. That's the age I'd feel comfortable getting married at.
Yeah.
Earlier than that just sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Again, I'm with someone and I love her to bits, but I would love to live out my life and not... I'm scared about commitment. So I'm kind of the same.
But followed by I'm scared of commitment.
Yeah, no.
After saying he's in a relationship.
I love her to bits.
Doing it in the next like 2, maybe 3 years.
That's cool.
Once we can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So. Okay.
On the young people thing, I think a lot of nowadays most young people's first experience of living out of home is shared housing with like uni or college.
Yeah.
And then they get that through, or they get that kind of fix of like living with mates, and then that will either sour you, and you're like, dude, fuck living with more than one person, or house sharing is awesome. I only want to do this.
Yeah.
Where like right now, it's the first time I'm properly living away from home, and I'm sharing the house with a girlfriend, and it's going like fine, like really well. I'm quite looking forward to doing it properly. Whereas some people like I know of, they've gone into shared housing and it's been a fucking nightmare, and now they're like, I want to come home, but I can't, and then I also can't. I don't want to go back into that housing, so like they kind of fuck.
I mean, yeah, I'd
They can't
definitely say that,
afford.
like, for my first university experience, I was in shared housing after adamantly trying not to be, but I just didn't roll on the RNG of not getting into it. And the problem I have with that is that like being in that shared housing was the worst part of my life in terms of my mental health. Right, it's the most depressed I've ever been, felt the worst I've ever been. Like, won't get into too much. It wasn't a good time. And that was because I was in shared housing. It's because I didn't feel comfortable making food for myself. I didn't eat a single cooked meal. I didn't prepare a single meal for months. I didn't like do anything. I just didn't do anything. I just stayed in my room and then bought the discounted pastries from the spa on campus. That was all I did for about 6 months. It was not a good time, and I spent like $1,000 of money in about a month period at one point. But we don't worry about that. Yeah. Anyway, it was a bad time. But the reason it was a bad time is because I didn't know any of the people. I didn't like most of the people. Why would I want to be in a house show with them?
That was literally what I was about to say. I feel like I'll let you go.
No offense to like any of the people that have been in discussions with me and others about possibly doing a house share. If there's some reason that came up with one of those people that meant I adamantly wouldn't want to live with them, like, respectfully, then I wouldn't be interested.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. Most of the people that I've been discussing that with are people that I, in general, trust quite a lot to be pretty serious about it.
Unfortunately.
But, if something came up, that I'm not just going to, just because someone's my friend, it doesn't mean, someone being a friend does not necessarily mean that I'm comfortable living with them, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But I think that's the problem a lot of people make is they're like, oh, I'm going to go into shared housing with either people I've only just met, people I've known for a few years, or, as some people get it, just potluck. And that's what makes it really hard, because if you don't have either a connection to that person, some sort of friendship or relationship with them, it's going to make it very hard because you're dealt with seeing them every single day of your life, and that's not really a best way to make friends with someone.
I
Not the
think
best
with
environment.
shared uni housing, it can help if you're like, if everyone's kind of similar and just day one you all click.
Mm.
But if you don't click straight away, then it's just gonna be like you're just gonna not. One of the I went to a party at a shared housing place, and all the people there all got on really well. They're all really chill, and they're like perfectly fine living there.
Mm.
But then other people I've heard of, they're like, oh yeah, none of us really got on. Most of it was like just shit time. Like people were
Yeah.
rude. They'd leave stuff out, wouldn't clean.
I've heard a lot of stories from both sides. Like, I won't mention him, but a friend of mine's first house was in like a flat, shared flat, and he got on like okay, like not well, wasn't close friends with, but didn't have like no one in that flat was like a particular arsehole, you know. It wasn't
Yeah.
someone that never washed up or anything like that. But there was a lot of drug use, and that just got very annoying to him because he's not one to judge. He didn't, whatever. Like, you do you as far as he's concerned, right? But the problem was that people came to the house to buy, people came to the house to deal, and that just got annoyed with him because if anything did happen with law enforcement, I mean, it didn't, but if anything did happen with law enforcement, then he's got that to deal with,
Yeah.
plus just constant people there and the annoyance of it. And then, like, I think they had to take someone to hospital one time because they overdosed on ketamine, and it's just like, fucking hell.
Jeez, yeah.
It's just like, it's just not a nice experience, right?
Yeah.
You're not you have no relaxation if you're living in an environment like that.
And I something I wanted to say, so I've had two opportunities. Oh, one of them is they're both planned opportunities. One of my friends, or two of my friends, they want to go to uni, do business, and they asked if I wanted to come along, and we'll move up somewhere, live like probably London or Birmingham or somewhere like that, and we'll live together and do uni. We're all really good friends, so I really wouldn't mind that. We all went to Manchester once. We lived in a B&B for a week, which was fun. One of them didn't wash up once, and I was terrified because the bathroom didn't have a lock on it and had the like.
Airbnb,
Yeah, sorry, yeah,
an
an Airbnb. Yeah.
bed and breakfast.
No, yeah, an Airbnb. It was fun fact. That Airbnb in Manchester, the first night we stayed there, someone set off the fire alarm. That was also the week of Gay Pride, and it was also the week of the KSI versus Logan Paul fight. So there was a lot going on in Manchester, and we also went there to watch a football game. So there was a lot of people in that one place. But yeah, I was terrified because it didn't have a lock on the bathroom door, and the bathroom light was on the outside. I was constantly terrified someone would turn off the light and then open the door and scream at me because I don't trust my friends.
Specific, yeah.
But yeah, I lived with them and that was fine. It was a lot of fun. And
So imagine both sides of that. It would be hilarious on the outside, terrifying on the inside.
But like the other experiences with some other really good friends, and we all want to go up and this is like the one thing I like about this idea is there's a few of us, and we would all go up and live in a house, and it's not uni related, so a majority of us will have, or most of us will have jobs, if not all. So we're not all stuck with each other in the house, which is really good for everybody's mental health. Being with someone that your whole time works for some people, works for not everybody. But it's also like one of my friends I spend most of my time with online, so it makes no real difference. But like it's just that idea of just coming home to see your friends. Like you're going to be away most of the day for some people. Some people might have home jobs. Some people might just have part-time jobs.
I mean, yeah.
And I like that. So I think that's a better way of doing it.
It certainly takes a like I think in my opinion, like you've got to have the right mindset. Everyone's got to go in with the right mindset.
And that's the thing. If
like,
people,
you're not family, you can't just like, to remember a certain amazing webcam event, walk into someone's room wearing nothing but a towel.
Goddamn knock. And after you leave, close the door over.
Yeah, exactly.
Wherever it
exactly.
was. Two simple rules.
And that's something
but,
is
like just a bit of respect for everyone's space and privacy.
Yeah.
Really, that's all it takes, and like just a bit of maturity. Like sometimes people are just going to want to go into their room and not speak to anyone. Other times they're going to be chill to hang out. Just be adult about it.
So when I was younger, like still in school, like secondary, I always loved the idea of moving in with friends. And then started college and started being like, oh, what I want to do with my friends. And then for the first year or so, I was like, we're all talking about like, oh, we could totally get a house together. We're all like, yeah, it'd be awesome. And then I started like, we'd all go to each other's houses more and more. and I just see how they go day to day. I'm just like, eventually, I was like, I couldn't live with any of my friends.
Ooh.
Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with like,
At least you found out
not
beforehand, I guess.
yeah, it's like
The-
most of them. You would behave differently at home than you would there, but
Yeah.
it's not worth the risk of like. I got friends who never fucking do anything for themselves. They are like waited on hand and foot. I got other friends who are like, they'll do it if they're told, but they do it begrudgingly. And then ones that will like, sort of like me, they will clean up. They'll clean up and they'll do a good job, but they'll do it in their own time,
Mm.
not when it's
Yeah.
convenient.
I feel like
And
it's
like,
so. Something to go into Alfie's point is obviously if you're good friends with people and you're moving to a house with them, you will understand their mental health, and if you don't, you understand that if they want to be left alone, you leave them alone. You will offer help, but you won't be like, "Hey, do you want to speak? Do you want to speak? Do you want to speak? What's wrong? What's wrong? Do you want to speak? What's wrong? Fuck off." So that's one thing. If you're going to live in a house, you need to understand. Secondly, if we were to move into a house, the best thing with us, and I feel like we're sort of like, especially at our age, we're sort of as friends the best people to move into, is because we're probably going to spend most of the day on our computers, and the only time we're ever going to talk is online. So like, if you want to just sit by yourself for 10-20 minutes or for a few hours, you just log off and watch TV or YouTube videos in your room.
I don't think that sharing a house with people that I would share a house with would be much different to how I live now.
No, and you don't have sharing a house with someone doesn't mean you have to see them constantly. You could go out to the fucking pub if you wanted to by yourself.
I feel like unless you're living with your partner, if you just live with mates, you can go like days without needing to see them, because like if everyone's cooking for themselves and cleaning for themselves, you might like cross each other in the hallway, or like, oh, you go bathroom first, I'll go after, kind of thing. But like, there's no obligation. Just because you're living together doesn't mean you have to spend time together. It just means that you're like, you sleep under the same roof. We don't have to like talk to each other like in person or anything. There's no obligation. It's just kind of.
I just like the idea of it because it's convenient.
Is a good solid thing as well. And just being responsible about adhering to them yourselves. Like, I don't know, what's an example of something that might happen? Like
the government.
Someone like spills something or something, right? Like, who's responsible for cleaning that up? Like, just have the person that makes the mess clean it up.
Yeah.
It sounds like dumb, but like just having that laid out in rules gives people that are possibly less likely to want to do that a sense of responsibility, because like if it's written on a set of rules and everyone else follows it, they don't want to be the one that doesn't, if that makes sense. Whereas it's kind of an unspoken rule that people might be more likely to be a bit sort of snarky about it.
So I had a friend in college. She was in her first year of college and moved into a house with her sister like halfway through school. Halfway through year 11, sorry. And like I went there a few times. Like we'd go there for parties, and we made some drinks with milk with it. They're like, "Oh my god, did you use the milk?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's 3 months out of date." We're like, "No, not 3 months. It's like 3 weeks out of date." We're like, "What the fuck? Why? Ugh." And then she talked about how like one of them spilt beans on the floor and neither of them cleaned it up until there was mold on it, and then they had to like force the other one to do it. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Me, that just seems like stupid. Common sense. It's disgusting as it is. Fucking either you clean it up if they're not going to, and like tell them off, fine them, or something like that. Or like I don't understand why people just leave stuff to the last minute. Like two people, if 3 people, 4 people, one person has to do it, even if they.
If you make a big mess, you should clean it up.
That sounds like a situation of 2 people that were too young mentally to be in that situation, and for that reason there was a lot of problems occurring, which doesn't necessarily justify that behavior, but it does help explain it, I would say.
Like here we've got a good system of like I pretty much exclusively do all the cooking, and then Rosie does most of the cleaning. But I still help. I'm not just like do everything, but like
I think that's
generally
again like that's something that can be agreed on. Like it doesn't have to be a complete even split between everyone in the household. If there's someone that particularly enjoys cooking and someone that particularly enjoys cleaning, then like if everyone agrees with it, there's no reason that person can't clean more than the person that wants to cook, right? Like if everyone's cool with it, like it's fine.
At home, I'd get annoyed because for a while, like, I can't remember when. It wasn't too long ago. It was before February, I think. I would be the main cooker, but I would also be expected to clean up all the time. And it's like I'm cooking for like 3, sometimes 4 people every day, and then I'm also expected to clean up after everyone every day. I'm just like, this isn't just because I'm the only one that isn't leaving the house doesn't mean I'm like I should have to clean up after like
Yeah.
everyone else. So I was very strict with cleaning up after myself and only making food for myself to prove of like how much fucking mess they made. And then they're like, yeah, sorry, like we will try and improve. Although mum has like Spraxia or something, or Asperger's. She's got like stuff that's like she's just really shit at cleaning up, or like staying on top of it.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is more like sometimes I'll be very on top of it, and sometimes I'll be very slow. It kind of depends on how everyone else in the house is.
I feel like now that I think about it, the one thing I would look in if I was to move into a house with my friends, the one thing I'd like to look for is 2 toilets.
Yeah, it's on the requirements list already.
As I don't think I haven't got it medically checked, but I'm pretty sure I have some sort of IBS, maybe minor IBS, and I know one of these people might have it as well or does. So I feel like 2 toilets is necessary, especially.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Just share one.
I mean, depending on the size of the house as well, and the amount of people that would be in it, 2 toilets is just like kind of expected.
Oh, I have 2 toilets, but they're next to each other.
Dude, I tell you what,
Uncomfortable.
5 toilets.
And they're like cubicles. Do you just have a
Yeah, no,
a
like
public
literally,
cubicle?
one is a cubicle like this, like it's literally about this big, about the size of my
Yeah.
frame actually. And it's next door to my main bathroom, which is bigger than my kitchen, about the same size as my kitchen. But like the wall is so small, you can hear everything through that. I avoid using it no matter what. I'm like, I need to go to the toilet. Who's in the toilet? And they're like, just use the smaller one. I'm like, I'm not going to. I'll just wait.
The place we had my 18th, the boys' toilets was like there's a leakage in it halfway through the night, and everyone was like, we're all like, oh, we don't want to use that. Can we use the girls? And all the girls were like completely fine with it. Everyone at the party was like, that's fine, it's okay. But all of us were pretty much just like, it's like whatever we need to pee. So go up to one of the girls like, can you escort us, please? We feel awkward.
Oh my god.
Because it was like, despite everyone being okay with it and everyone understanding it, was still like, I feel awkward going in on it.
Yeah,
It was pretty funny though.
Never had to do that. Never. The only time the closest I've been to being in a girls' toilet was in primary school, getting pushed into it. Because for context, the year 2 classroom. Okay, so my primary school was very small. It only had 3 classrooms. Year 1, the reception, or which we called them pebbles. Year 1, year 2. Then there was year 3, year 4, then year 5, and year 6. 2 years would share 1 classroom. But into the year 3 and 4 classroom, you would have to line up where there was 2 toilets, and it got to the point like where we started trying to push each other into the girls' toilets, which was great fun. I also remember in an assembly in primary school, we recently. I'm not going to say what technically happened to me because it's not the best time for it right now. But we had a new like play adventure bit built up, and it had to give it grip on the fake grass. They had rubber tire, like chewed up rubber tire.
Yeah, I hate that stuff.
And what I didn't realise is it basically just starts like it basically starts rubbing onto your hands or whatever touches you, like it's slightly like it starts making your hands like black or whatever. And I didn't realise that went onto my face. So during a school assembly, the head teacher looked at me and went, "Charlie, what have you got on your face?" I turned around to look at people because I'm like, "What's going on?" And everybody started laughing at me. And I had got black all over my face, and I just teared up like hell. I started crying, and one of my teachers was like, "Come on, Charlie, I'll take you to the disabled toilet and we'll clean you up."
Teachers understood you so well.
Yes. No, it was a female teacher, so she couldn't take me into the male toilet.
Right.
But that was fun.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, I don't think a female teacher's going to take me into a male toilet.
I can't remember which toilet I went because when I pissed myself in preschool, there's a female TA that helped me, and I can't remember which toilets we went into.
Mm-mm.
But
You know,
yeah, no, I can't remember.
it's interesting for me because I don't think like. I'm not sure how everyone would feel about this, and this kind of topics come up because of J.K. Cunt Rowling and all the shit that she's been controversial for.
Did you used to use your wand to clean up your shit?
But like, I just kind of don't care who's in the same toilet as me. To be entirely honest, like I would feel no discomfort being in a toilet with whatever, you know, people that are on the binary, people that aren't. I just don't care. It doesn't bother me. Now, I obviously respect that that's being in a position of privilege, that there's a lot less sexual assault towards, you know, me. So I'm less likely to feel uncomfortable being around other people. But at the same time, like, you know, it would be interesting to know, like, if it is potential in, like, a future world that we could get to a point where people just didn't mind, if that makes sense.
Oh, what, like, there's a film that does that. Fuck, I can't remember.
Enough, you know? There's a film about that. Of course there is.
Yeah,
There's
there's a space film where there's a famous scene of all the men are like all the main characters all having a shower, and then there's just females walking past completely nude having their showers too. Like it's like a gender neutral world.
It's a really funny episode of Always Sunny about the toilet debate thing, toilet debate.
Okay.
And in the end, it's just one bathroom is for shitting, and one bathroom is for pissing. Because at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't care who else is in the toilet if I'm just going to pee. But if I'm taking a dump, I don't really want to have like anyone there.
Oh, I'm not getting this out because I'm gonna sound awful just because I don't remember the term. I'm not gonna go into that conversation. But it was 2 funny points I wanted to say. Save them for when I find out what the term is, so I don't offend anybody. It's the thing is, I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I don't know if it's still the right term to use. I'm pretty sure it is.
Just do it.
So I've known 2 people in my life. Alfie's going to correct me on this, by the way.
Wow.
So
2 whole people.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
There's 3 here.
Would the term be so? They're both girls transform into boys. Would they just be transforming? Okay, yeah, I knew I was getting the term wrong. Fuck off.
So you have your sex assigned at birth, Charles, which is the biological.
Okay, I know this is
generally associated with your sex based on your genitalia.
What's the term I want to use? Because I want to make the funny jokes.
So, for example, I have a penis. That means I was assigned the sex male at birth. Some people don't feel comfortable with that and transition.
There we go.
Yeah, transition.
So I've known 2 people transitioning.
Binary or other places. Some people don't consider themselves trans if they've gone from a binary, sex to somewhere that isn't binary. Some people do. It's down to each person, pretty much. Yeah, transitioning.
Transforming. Fuck.
MTF and FTM is the common.
Okay.
Male to female, female to male for the people that are going between the 2 binaries.
I've known 2 people who are transitioning. One of them I'm still good friends with. The other one I don't see or speak to because I hate them.
Wow.
But I've got
That's
2.
a weird way to word and put all this.
I know. But one of them, the thing is, so one of them was when I was at my old job. I just clocked in, went to the changing rooms to get changed into my uniform, and they were there. And I didn't know this at the time that they were transitioning, so they ended up getting changed. And I was like, "The fuck did you just show me?" Because she was on about her what do you call it? I can't remember it because I know a few people who have them as well. It's like a really tight bra, basically.
Sports bra.
There you go.
But it's a binder. It's used to basically compress your chest.
Yeah, they had that binder on.
And who invented those? God damn it!
They normally can be worn for a long time.
No, they were talking about it because they are very uncomfortable, and
Hell yeah.
especially some people it like You genuinely just can't wear them.
Obviously, every individual person does a transition on what they're comfortable with and
Yeah.
on their terms. Normally, people that have finders using them sort of. I want to say temporarily because it's completely respectful and reasonable to use one your whole life. But a lot of people often get top surgery, which is where you have your breast removed and you end up with a flat chest.
But yeah, they were wearing a binder, and I didn't know they were transitioning at the time. So I was like, "What did I just see?" That was the only time I've ever been surprised by that. Like, the fuck. Obviously, respect to them. They didn't give two shits. They didn't pay attention to it or anything. They just spoke to me about it. It was like, okay, now I understand. Did really confuse me though. The reason I hate that person is because I liked a girl at work. They ended up taking her, and they're making jokes to me about that and all that. And then they're like, "Oh, they don't like being with girls," and then fuck off. The other one I'm still good friends with. This is a really bad story, actually. Do I tell it?
I mean, the other one was pretty awfully worded in parts.
Okay, I do want to say I don't mean any offense. I love everybody. Do what you wish. Do what you do, because honestly, I love everybody.
Oh, damage control. Well, I'm at the ready. Go ahead.
I know.
Charles.
But like, okay, this is gonna sound awful. When the first time I went into my new media class, there was a we were introducing everybody and getting to know each other, and I remember looking over to this person and thinking, "Oh, this was before I was with my girlfriend, by the way." I was just looking at them. I was like, "Oh, they're really cute. Oh, I wonder who they are. And I wonder if I could become friends with them, and all that." And I was like, "They're really cute. I wonder what her name is." And then everybody started talking to her, and then I was talking to my friends, and they're like, "Oh, so he's really good." And like, oh, they were saying their name, which is a male name. I was like, "Fuck, am I gay?"
It's not remotely where I thought this was going.
No.
Oh my god, Charles.
Wait, am I gay?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I had that moment
It
of.
was less offensive than I thought.
I was like,
It's
fuck.
actually better than the first story, frankly.
I also want to point out, by the way, that I love this person and she's with someone at the moment. But I'm almost certain her boyfriend convinced her to stop transforming because he didn't like the fact that
Fucking robot cars that become people.
Oh my god. No, it's because she was thinking of going through like everything, like the full surgery and all that. That's why I thought about that.
I would say that anybody that's in a relationship with someone where that other person has made a personal decision for you is a very toxic relationship.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know.
I'm not necessarily. I don't want to invalidate this person if they thought that they wanted surgery and then decided that actually no, they're not comfortable with that, because that's a completely reasonable thing. It's not an easy thing to figure out. But at the same time, if that was a decision that they were pressured into or went against their own will because of someone else, I mean, that person's a cunt.
Yeah, no, I don't know how much they did actually, but that's like from what I know. I know she wanted to go full transform and full. I'm just gonna stop talking about it. But I know she wanted to do the full thing, but ended up not doing it. I don't know if it was because of her. I heard rumors. I don't know if it was because of him, but I heard rumors. They're both lovely people. I'm really good friends with both of them. Just the guy is like your typical manly man who loves his cars and thinks there's only two genders. He used to come he used to come into college because he used to make fun of this whole thing. He used to come into college saying that he's national national neutral. So he would come in every now and then saying I'm German, I'm Italian, I'm Belgium. I'm Belgium. God damn it. I'm American today.
I am Belgium.
Yes.
Belgium itself.
So, you know.
So if he's a manly man, his partner, what are they going from to?
Female to male.
Okay, yeah, no. I can see why he'd want to stop it then.
Yeah.
Because I thought you meant the other way around, and I was like, wait, wouldn't he?
No, he's like the straightest.
Because a manly man, wouldn't he not want the thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there is a complicated disparity between sexuality in the sense of, homosexuality, attracted to the same sex, strictly speaking, right? that definition has pretty much moved on to the same gender now among
Yeah.
the LGBT group. People don't really consider it about sex. You know, if I am identifying as male and my partner is identifying as male, that's a homosexual relationship as far as most people are concerned, regardless of what genitalia is involved on either end. At the same time, the reality of it is that people are attracted to physical appearance and genitalia and
Appearance.
personality, and it becomes complicated because someone could like, you know, a masculine appearance but not be attracted sexually to penises. Some people would be happy to compromise on that, some people wouldn't be. And the whole situation in terms of attraction is really complicated. And it's something that I definitely think our current labels, which if I have my way, I don't personally feel a necessity for labels. I have no issue with just, you know, being sex attracted to what I'm sex attracted to, and other people doing that, and whatever, just fuck what you want. I don't care, you know, as long as it's not a kid or an animal, whatever. Like,
There's a lot more on that list we want to add, by the way.
okay,
We're not gonna-
Do you know what? If someone
I
wants to
feel
stick
like
their
those
cock
are
in
the
a
two main ones. Though.
yeah, like if someone wants to stick their cock in the fuel pipe of a car or something, because that is a thing some people do, I frankly don't care. Like, whatever. Like, it doesn't affect me. Do it. I don't care. Anyway, the point is, like, I definitely think our current labels, because obviously some people do feel a strong identity to a label, and that's completely understandable and respectable. I do think that our current labels do a bad job of facilitating the needs of the complexities of human attraction and gender. It is more complicated than our current system features, really.
I like labels because it makes things easier, but I do think the current labels are pretty shit.
Yeah.
Because it's just it's all expanded so much. Like, I feel like homo and hetero work, but what comes after doesn't anymore. Because of
Yes.
like homo is like same, hetero is opposite. So like, oh, I'm homo, I don't know, genderal. I can't think of like.
It's a very
but,
binary set of words, isn't it? You are
Yeah.
with the same or the opposite, and that's not the reality of how gender identity works now. Like, that's just not how we understand it. So that those words don't really match, and everyone has their own different interpretations of what they mean as well, and it becomes very complicated. I
I feel like
push that people should be more comfortable with identifying a difference between their romantic attraction, their platonic attraction, and their sexual attraction, right?
I
And then
feel like
within those, that you can be sexually attracted to a body type, you know, a masculine body, a feminine body, for lack of better words. You can be attracted to penises, vaginas, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, it's way more complicated than just like the same as yours, the opposite of yours.
Yeah.
I feel like those things help though, because not like the majority of people are like cis. So like,
Yeah.
if you just like if you just like, you know, a guy that comes across another guy and you're both just cis guys but you're gay, it's a lot easier to just be like, oh, I just like dudes, rather than like, oh, I like this. Whereas if you come across someone who is, you know, transitioning or what, you know, whatever thing they fit into, that's when you want the better words for it, because it's like, oh, I'm
I mean, there just needs to be
gay,
more
but
labels,
I don't
more
support.
labels.
Yeah, I think more better labels,
and more like openness to just discussing like your attractions and such.
because heterosexual and homosexual work, but they are like, I think with the gender thing, there's more genders than male and female, so there needs to be more words for them.
And the thing is, I mean, it gets complicated because, like, say you are, you know, born male, identified as male anyway, and you are completely comfortable in that. You're happy. You're a cis man. You know, you're like, yep, that's me. I feel comfortable in that. And you, you know, find someone that you think is attractive, and are looking at, you know, maybe starting a relationship with them, and then you discover that this person who, you know, has a rather stereotypically male appearance happens to have a vagina. They identify as male, but, you know, they happen to have a vagina. Is it transphobic to then say you're not comfortable to be in that relationship? Some people would say that it is, and that your problem there is with that person being trans and you're not respecting their identity as a male. And other people would say, well, no, because they have a vagina, and that's a reasonable thing to not be attracted to, or to be attracted to.
I'm definitely on the second one.
When it's down to like not being like detrimental or derogatory to someone, when it's purely down to attraction, then no,
It's like,
I don't think it would be transphobic.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was the case. I'm no longer just in a sexual relationship.
Yeah.
If you were then like, oh, that's gross. That's not okay. Fuck you. That's transphobic. That's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. That's just sort
Yeah,
of, ugh,
yeah, that's
just
where I
toxic
draw the
behavior.
line. But it's interesting because there are people that disagree on that, and
Mm.
you know, for me, what it comes down to most is, you know, you can respect that that person exists. You know, I respect that trans people exist. And I mean, some people would consider me trans in the sense that, you know, I was assigned male at birth. I identify now as non-binary, right? I am even considering changing my appearance a decent amount, which would mean that I wouldn't look like the stereotypical male that was assigned at birth entirely, also not like a stereotypical female, because I don't agree or associate myself with either binary. I don't feel comfortable in either of them. So it's sort of like, well, you know, where am I? Am I trans at that point? And some people would say yes, some people would say no. It's really it's an opinion based thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't think we should penalize people. I think we should just accept that people are sexually attracted to a physical aspect of humans, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's not a justified thing
it's
to
part
do,
of it.
right? Because of the mental implications on children. But people that are pedophiles and attracted to kids aren't doing that. I mean, I'm sure there's a percentage of people that are doing that for the abuse side of things, but you know, people that have a genuine sexual attraction to kids have that because they have a mental sexual attraction to kids, right? That's just a thing. That's the reality of it. You can't deny that. It's not okay, and to do anything like that or to groom kids is wrong. Not just because of the action. It's not about the attraction itself. It's about that the kids don't understand and can't consent, and it's abusive, right? That's where the
Unless, of
problem
course,
is.
you're in the Catholic Church, and then it's, you know.
Unless you're in the Catholic Church, yes.
That's only fair.
So it's like, you know, you've got to recognize that like there is a physical attraction to human sexuality, and
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
a big
completely
part.
acceptable to respect people's uncomfortableness with different things, and just in general be more accepting of everyone's identity and attractions, and just, you know,
I think
just
it's
be more chill about it.
attraction is like physical and mental,
Yes.
and but then
And you have
I
platonic,
think
romantic, and sexual attraction, and all of those can have mental and physical aspects to them.
I think one of the worries about like the whole thing is what happens when it goes too far and we start labeling emotional, like, oh, I'm emotionally attracted to Word, you know. But
It's a
then
really awful
it
program.
needs to be. Sorry.
It's a really awful program to be attracted to.
like it's like there needs to be enough help and support and the correct things to say, but then we also can't take it too far where it becomes what it is now, which is kind of limiting. I feel like I didn't word that quite right, but like we need to find the right middle ground of words to say, because as well, I feel like say 100 years down the line it's going to be a lot less complicated because most people by then will just get it. I think now we're in a time where most of the people like in charge of everything are older people who don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of these problems come in.
Again, like as I was saying earlier, I completely respect anyone's identity, you know, personal identity to labels, and feeling that you know, they feel more comfortable having a group to associate themselves with, and people that they can look for in that group to speak to about how they feel about themselves, and that side of it. And then the people on the opposite side of the spectrum that for whatever mental reason might struggle to understand the world around them without being able to categorize things. That's something that a lot of people on the spectrum will feel, and that's completely respectable too.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely one. I like to be able to label things because it makes it easier to understand to me. But at the same time, I completely understand and respect why people wouldn't.
You know, I don't care about anyone else's labels. You know, like if I'm speaking to a new person, the only thing that matters to me is what pronouns do you want me to use? Because as long as, you know, I can happy to use whatever pronouns, as long as, you know, I'm doing that, I just frankly don't care what their gender expression and identity is, right? It doesn't bother me. As long as I know what pronouns to use so I'm not offending them, you know, I'm not bothered if they identify as female, as male, as non-binary, as non-conforming, as gender fluid, as a demi-guy, whatever. It's just not remotely a problem, you know? As long as I can do what I can to not offend them, I just don't care.
Like, not to sound like I don't want it to come across as intolerant, but I think most of the time it doesn't actually matter unless it's in a situation of like romantic entanglement. That's when it needs like that, or not needs to, but that's when it's like kind of important. Other like I can be talking to someone, I don't need to know or care what they are. All I need to know is, are they a piece of shit or not? Like,
I can see where you're coming from,
yeah,
but yeah, no, I don't know. It's
like
you
is this
need to
person someone I'm going to
respect
get
who they are.
involved with? Then I kind of want to know more about them. But like talking to you guys, I don't need to know what you are, as long as like as long as like if I said
Yeah.
anything that
If you
upset
respect-
anyone or offends them, I make effort to change it. But generally, like it's because it's not going to change the way I think about them. So it's not information that's necessary to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, if you respect, like, if they want you to say certain stuff.
But like, if they're specific of like, oh, can you, like, if they said to me, can you say this? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, it's your
I mean, yeah,
prerogative. But generally,
ultimately,
like,
it's also important that we respect that the most important thing anyone can do to help improve the world and make the world a better place is to educate. And there's no point if someone, completely unaware misgenders someone or makes someone uncomfortable to just then completely cut that person off or have a go at them. If
Are we
that
gonna
person- if you
count
try and
kids with
educate
this?
that person and correct them, and then they say, "No, fuck you, I'm not going to do that," then you're an asshole, obviously. But if they're unaware of someone's pronouns and they use the wrong pronouns, and you correct them and they adhere to that, it needs to be considered perfectly culturally acceptable to just go, "Oh yeah, sorry, I was wrong. I'll fix that mistake from
Yeah.
here on." That's completely normal.
We're gonna add kids to that because a kid called me a girl once. No, actually, no. Sorry, let me correct that. A kid at work said, "Mummy, does that girl know he's a boy?" Because I had really long hair at the time.
I used to have really long, like blonde hair, and I was wearing a sling for the fun of it when I was really young.
I got my hair
But
cut
at the
about a
shop,
week
this
later.
old lady walked past us. I was like, "Oh, your daughter's broken her arm." I was just like, "What? I'm not a girl. What's going on?" I got really confused.
You saying that at Christmas, my supervisor came over because I needed help with something, and the customer there was two ladies that I was serving, and she just said to the customer, one of the customers, who was this short, lovely lady, "Oh, are you gonna enjoy the reindeer outside?" She's like, "Oh, that's way past my age." And she's like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm 19." Oh, okay. And then she just
That's
walked
not
away.
past your age, bro. That's fucking perfect age.
She probably
You know
thought
what
she was
you're
about
enjoying at that
12.
point.
Used to really offend that you don't like the reindeers.
Honestly, I've had some great stuff happen at work. I miss that place sometimes. I had my friend say something back to a customer, and he was this really, minor words, but he was a really chavvy guy. Like, he thought he was harder than he actually was. And he walked around like this everywhere, like he was in fucking an old show. And he was like, his girlfriend said something, and my friend just went, "I'm sorry about that." At which point he turned around and just went, "What you say, mate? What you say? You want to fight me? You want to fucking fight me? Well, come out here then. I'll fucking kill you." It was the funniest thing I've ever witnessed. I love it when people do that. It's great fun.
One time I was in Mackey's, just like getting my order, and I'm just gonna like for like less than a second, I just crossed eyes with someone and then looked away, and then like I knew her cousin from school, and he was like white, not like he was like very scrawny but really chavvy like kid, and he comes up to me, he's like, "You are not my cousin or something. You want to fucking?" And I was like, "No, what are you talking? No, like." I was looking around because I'm waiting for my food. Like, leave
You
me
know what you
alone.
should say when someone says that? Just say, "Just fuck me now." And they'll just stop talking to you.
Well, I think he was like, I think he was one of those closeted people,
Okay.
because he did eventually, like a couple years later, he was like very openly like gay and stuff. But at that point, he was one of those like chavvy kids who thinks it's bad to be gay, and so will like, despite everyone's like, you like, we could tell and it's fine, but he's like, no, I'm not, really defensive. Like, okay, mate. He was one of those. So if I said anything like that, he would fucking knocked me out.
Yeah, those people, they're great.
So
You get-
my
Too many of them.
so one of my mates in college was always really uncomfortable with like any of us touching him, because he wasn't like an asshole, but he was one of those people that's like brought up that liking blokes is bad, but he was like conflicted, haven't thought about it and stuff.
Mm.
He was always very uncomfortable with us touching him, and eventually he came out and now he's fine with it. But it was very like, as someone who's very comfortable with what I am, I was really confused as to why he wouldn't like mate, like tap on the shoulder, give him a hug. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up to the 2-hour mark, so I think we should start wrapping it up a bit. Has anybody got anything else you'd like to finish off the podcast with? Or have we really exhausted what we've spoken about?
Yeah, I got nothing, no particular topic that I need to go into.
That's
I
fair.
had a few things I wanted to talk about that I haven't like had the chance since last time I was on, but most of them will probably take up
2 hours.
a while. Yeah, we'll probably maybe like an hour of talking.
I just wanted to try and get it around the 2-hour
Games I
mark
played, but
just for YouTube. So I'll write them down and
Well,
we'll talk about them next
I'd like-
week. So
I'd like to give a shout out to McCrystals, the original and genuine McCrystals. I won't say the word, but very good product, much improved.
Okay.
Very cheap, very cheap.
well,
Love it.
yeah. Keep what you wanted to talk about, and we'll just talk about it next time you're on. Maybe next
I
week.
just wanted to give that a quick shout out, and yeah, if I come on next week, I'll talk about the other things,
Nice. Yeah. No,
video
definitely
games and such.
keep them written because I got awful
Oh.
memory. So
I was gonna talk shit about Asda, but the
oh
rant would be
damn,
too long.
yeah. Fuck, I forgot about that. Anyway, we'll talk about it next week if we remember. You two want to promote anything since you promoted something?
Yeah, I just would like to promote the hit video game Dwarf Fortress. Yeah, no, I don't know. Donate to BLM causes, research BLM. It's
Is
still a
that
big
game bundle
situation
still
going
up?
on. No, the itch.io bundle ended. I think now.
Yeah, I remember it was a
Humble
week last
Bundle
semester.
have got a bundle up for it.
Oh, Humble
Oh,
Bundle's
nice.
got one up now, have they?
Yes.
Let's check this one out, actually.
I'll grab a link for that in a minute.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
the
the bundles.
itch.io bundle finished at 8,200,000 round.
Oh, that's fucking insane.
Which is insane. I mean, it's credit. I love Itch anyway. Itch are a great platform, and it's really cool to see the community come together like that.
Yeah. Fight for racial justice. Let's look at this bundle.
I don't know if you guys could hear the cat then. He was really fucking loud.
Vaguely. Oh, there's some good game. Jackbox bundle, and how much is it? £25.
I'm gonna
No,
check it. My,
20.
Not more.
because my proxy hates.
How much,
fucking
sorry?
How's this working then? Is it just like a normal Humble bundle?
Yes, yeah, I
Yes,
believe
okay.
so. But
There's a lot of
all
books.
of the money goes to charity, as opposed to like most or some of it, or wherever
Oh,
you say.
okay.
There's a Attack of Titan anthology.
Oh yeah, it's a good few books as well.
Yeah,
There
some good
is.
stuff, man.
Elite Dangerous. Oh, there's some really good stuff in here. Oh, our favourite game for Tigger. Oh, I can't say that word. For
Here we go.
oh, for fuck's sake. For
Grand finale.
for Tiginos Golf. There you go. That's what I'm sticking with.
Mm-mm.
That's really good. And
There's some good books
Overgrowth.
in here as well, actually.
There's some really good
If you're
games.
interested in reading and some novels, visual novels.
FTL, Bioshock Remastered. This is a tempting offer if it wasn't so expensive. KSP.
Oh, you don't
I don't have any money, just to give context.
oh shit! It's got Baba is you.
Ugh.
Baba is you.
Yeah, I won't. I'd love to get this.
Oh, you get 1 month free of Humble Choice if you've not subscribed to it already.
Mm.
Oh,
Is that a thing
really?
they do on all bundles? That's probably a thing they do on all bundles, isn't it? But
I didn't
way, that's
think
cool.
so.
okay, yeah, cool.
It's not. There's a pretty shit one this month.
Let me have a look at one of their bundles.
I presume that's like you
Could
can.
you get one month free for new subscribers of Humble Choice? So I presume it does just like force you into it now, but
I hope not, because if you can save it for
Well,
a
I think,
decent
yeah,
one.
the other ones are like 10% off first month.
Yeah.
This is...
Yeah, but what we're saying is, does it put it straight into the one that's currently going on now, or do you get it as like you can keep it, and then when there's a good one,
So
you
what are they
can go for that?
supporting?
It'd probably be the.
Legal Defense Fund, Race Forward, and the Bail Project. Yeah.
No Time to Explain. Oh, that's a great game.
Actually, Barotrauma looks good, but that's probably one of the only games this month that looks good.
Oh, I want to play some that golf game.
Someone donated 20,000 to this bundle, sorry, just
Who
You get an
was that? Jeff.
That already tickled you, didn't it?
It's just Jeff 20k. What a lad. Is that
Oh.
Jeff Bezos? He just wants to
Jeff's
play some
watching.
games. Uber strategist. Wow.
Actually, no, there is a couple decent games in the choice this month. So
Professor Fart donated 130.
Oh.
What a lad.
Oh,
What did you
yeah, it's a cool
delete? I
thing.
want to see what you deleted.
But yeah, like that's, I don't want to have anything specific to shout out. Just be aware of the other events that are going
No.
on in the world and try to do what you can.
wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your hands.
And wash your hands. Yeah, like please be aware. Like UK shops are reopening. American shops are
some reason.
sort of already reopening.
They
UK
sort of
has the
never
highest
coped.
death rate in terms of excess deaths in the world. That we have
We're
a massive
awful.
problem. Other countries like Australia are only reopening after having under 20 cases in days. We reopened having over 4,000 cases in one day.
Mm.
Oh, great.
And it has
we-
since
like,
doubled in some areas.
Please be aware there is a pandemic still happening. Just because things are reopening, the pandemic is not over. Please wear a mask. Please wash your hands. Please keep safe.
Yes.
Stay inside. Stay in school.
I just want to say, by the way, BLM donated twice £175 on this.
Good for them.
Good for them. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for coming in. Thank you very much, Grenly, for your 20 bits. You're an absolute legend, as always. And Salome Witch for those emotes which didn't get deleted for some reason. Anybody else notice that?
Which ones?
The
I'll
pogs.
refresh the page. It wasn't enough to get deleted, I don't think.
Oh, weird. Oh, there you go. Anyway, yes, thank you very much for your time. I love you all. Thank you for coming here. And as mentioned, this will be uploaded on its own channel very soon, so I'll keep you guys updated when that happens. I will be back streaming hopefully tomorrow. We are getting back to a normal schedule. I do need to play some more games with you, Delicious, and some more games with you, Agent Noink, and Kane, actually. We need to find some games we will need to play on stream. I haven't played. I'm lonely.
I want to play Valorant at some point.
Fucking lonely, lads. Just play games with me.
I'm sorry, bro.
Fix it now. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. As always, have a good evening, good day, good night, good morning. Did I get all the ones in there? Yes.
I think so.
And we shall see you in the next game. Ta-ra.
Hurrah! Hurrah!
Wanted to give us a quick
That
round
was
of applause. to end
weak
on.
ass failing.